Yeah, the Godfather. Yeah, the Godfather. 2020 was a bitch. What? All I wanna do is this. What? 2021. Come on. A nigga thought he was done. Hating ass bitches everywhere. Dick riding in the air. Good guys better be aware. Hating niggas better be aware. Hating ass bitches everywhere. Dick riding in the air. Good guys better be aware. Hating niggas better be aware. Hating ass bitches everywhere. Dick riding in the air. Good guys better be aware. Hating niggas better be aware. Hating ass bitches everywhere. Dick riding in the air. Good guys better be aware. Hating niggas better be aware. Last year was a bitch. Good guys took over this shit. All I wanna do is this. New niggas from everywhere. New niggas getting sentenced there. D. Durrell was always aware, but my roast was too hard to bear. There ain't no fucking stopping me. Detroit nigga pocket watching me. I rose the channel from the dead. Turn the bank account from black to red. New niggas tried to make a name. Tried to challenge me and put me to shame. 1 month after another. Can't stop the Godfather. Hating ass bitches everywhere. Dick riding in the air. Good guys better be aware. Hating niggas better be aware. Hating ass bitches everywhere. Dick riding in the air. Good guys better be aware. Hating niggas better be aware. Hating ass bitches everywhere. Dick riding in the air. Good guys better be aware. Hating niggas better be aware. Hating ass bitches everywhere. Dick riding in the air. Good guys better be aware. Hating niggas better be aware. Find a nigga fucking house soon. Word about a damn auto-tune. Let a nigga beef in peace. When you gonna release a beat? Motherfucker in the manosphere. Lame ass can't keep it real. Called channel 2 cause he couldn't take it. Next week channel terminated. Everybody gotta deal with trolls. Communist bitches with fucked up froze. Nigga lose their damn job over dough. Roman and white fucking slow. Andrew Stewart on the last leg. No far phone from the state of feds. If I ain't talking about you, that mean you ain't working, that's the fucking truth. Hating ass bitches everywhere. Dick riding in the air. Good guys better be aware. Hating niggas better be aware. Hating ass bitches everywhere. Dick riding in the air. Good guys better be aware. Hating niggas better be aware. Hating ass bitches everywhere. Dick riding in the air. Good guys better be aware. Hating niggas better be aware. Hating ass bitches everywhere. Dick riding in the air. Good guys better be aware. Hating niggas better be aware. Was a bitch. All I wanna do is this. Motherfucking Godfather. 2021. Nigga thought he was done. 2020 was a bitch. All I wanna do is this. Motherfucking Godfather. 2021. What? A nigga thought he was done. Welcome back, guys. D. Durrell is back. Bitch ass little BIGNATE did something on YouTube. They basically ended my channel abruptly, live in the midst of me talking about his bitch ass. The fucking live stream went dead. That has only happened to me twice. That has only happened to me twice in the last. I've been on YouTube for 5 years. This shit only happened twice where my fucking show basically got taken off the air. Yes, he did that shit. No one else could have did it. I don't know what he did and what he said. but my video was taken off air. I'm still gonna do the video. I'm still gonna do the show, and I'm still gonna talk about his little chunky ass. It's not gonna stop me from doing that. I'm just gonna continue where I left off. That's all I'm gonna do. Shout out to Ms. Murph. Appreciate the $20 Cash App, Queen. For those coming in, we got 10 in the chat. I know a lot of people ain't coming back. They probably wondering what the fuck happened to D-Durrell channel. What kind of operation he got? The fact of the matter is, when you got Negroes like Little Big Nate who go around, you know, throwing stones and hiding their hands, this is the kind of stuff that happens. This is the same man that's crying, talking about, I'm the person who ruined his channel. I never gave him a strike, even though I actually had legitimate reasons to strike his channel. I had tons of reasons, and I chose not to. I have no idea. Ms. Murph, but they took my channel. Reverend Gerald Rainbow Palmer was the last person that got a live stream taken down. And that was back in, I want to say, 2019. But I get it. It's not going to stop me. So what I'm going to do, guys, is just continue from where I left off. This is Little Big Nate talking. Again, basically politicizing every goddamn thing about as far as Republicans and Democrats.
With a several inch long black phallus hanging from the front of it.
What's up, Narratives and Dialogues?
And she shared the stage with small children. These satanic monsters on the left. Let me tell you what they're doing, okay? There's only one way to almost surefire produce homosexuals, and that's through the rape of children. You have to sexualize the children because the LMNOP community can't
That is false. Although many adults who go to that lifestyle were sexually abused, that's not the only way that people decide to go that route. Other reasons is because there could be other forms of dysfunction. Physical abuse can also contribute that. Some type of trauma, relationship trauma can cause that. And then also the fact that you just have people who are just fluid and they are open to dating the same sex. Okay? You have people who are just fluid and open to doing so. That's just, they don't have a stringent value system when it comes to sexuality. They're open, and if they want to make that decision, they'll make that decision. I don't know what the hell Little Big Nate is saying. He's not a professional in that area. He needs to stay in his lane. But of course, on YouTube, people don't do that.
Produce themselves. You can't take a gay man and a gay woman and produce a gay child. It's illogical. They're not even attracted to each other. You can't guarantee a homosexual child with a straight mother and father. But ask Don Lemon. Ask Donnie McClurkin. Ask all the men in Hollywood who are homosexuals who were raped as children. It's their story. They became adult men who engage with men. So, in order for these folks to reproduce themselves, they absolutely have to expose children to all these warped ideas of sexuality. Entire classrooms now questioning their sex because of their LMNOP white suburban teacher telling them they should feel comfortable being whatever they want. These devils are so upset at people just exposing the things they say. The Washington Post docked the person that started Libs of TikTok, a woman, put out her address. She's faced death threats and harassment simply re-uploading to the internet what liberals upload themselves saying. You want to debate which political party is better moving forward? Let's do that.
Again, this is his opening stance. This is his opening stance, man. This shit is crazy. The shit that this man says is fucking idiotic. And I'm gonna move forward because I want to go to the fucking rapid fire. This is where I want to go to because when you really, really, really deal with the shit. Now listen to this, Negro.
Speaking of the LMNOPs, I would like you to delineate the right.
We left off with Brother Big Nate. So, Brother JR, pull the trigger. This is rapid fire.
I was wondering, can we add another rebuttal round before we do the rapid fire? One more? Can we do that?
No. Hell no.
Right.
Hell no.
X crazy.
Let's get to it.
All right, let's do it then. Let's do it. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the neocons, I mean, after they killed 500,000 people over there in Iraq, civilians, I would like to think that they would challenge that arm of the Republican Party. And kudos to them if that's what they've been doing in those elections in the U.S. House and even in the Senate. And come on, man, you know that a lot of these people, they're scared of Trump. That's why they sit there and support him. They go into their little chairs.
They're scared of him. That's why they support him. You sound ridiculous.
Yeah, they're scared of him. They're scared that he's going to.
Will you answer my question, JR? Why are you a Democrat when they hate men and they want to destroy the patriarchy? How are you comfortable over there promoting rights for men in a party whose platform calls for the end of that?
I have rights. I mean, I'm doing well for myself.
Answer my question,
I answered
please.
the question. Yeah, I answered the question. See, the thing
No,
is,
you didn't.
Yeah, of course I did. They're not doing anything.
No, of course you didn't, JR.
I have a bunch of friends that are black male friends. We don't sit around and start talking about all this Skittle stuff. I mean, I don't. You go to
no, you sit and whine and complain about racism. I asked you, tell me the racism you face, JR.
See, the thing is, you're trying to move it to the micro. See, the thing is, as a liberal Democrat, I see
you're worried about racism, and you haven't been through any.
No, I'm worried.
Me?
No, I'm worried about the racism that affects the whole world.
You haven't been through any racism.
Actually, I have.
People don't need you to represent for us.
Now, at this time, Little Big Ugly, because he is Big Ugly, Little Big Ugly is now getting upset. And this is a precursor to him getting ready to go off the fucking rail again, acting a goddamn ass. You can hear it coming. You see it coming.
Us. Yeah. No, actually, I have. But the thing about it is, once you start talking,
I'm telling you, we don't need you to do that.
Okay, but you make it seem like it's on.
Don't feel the need to do that, JR.
Well, no, it isn't. You make it seem like I'm all just trying to go to bat for one race or this race. No, it's.
I don't care what you're trying to go to bat for. You're contradictory in everything that you represent.
Here's the question you really have to ask. If racism doesn't exist,
you won't answer the questions that I asked you.
No. Here's the thing. Once you start answering the questions about the micro, you'll sit there and just zero in and then.
Why don't you answer the question I asked you?
Okay, ask the question.
Tell me the racism you have faced that leads you to be preoccupied with racism all the time.
I'll sit there and answer this one question, but I'm not going to delve too much into the micro. But
of course you won't.
Oh, no, because the thing is, you're trying to personalize it, and it's something that affects the whole
personalize
world.
it?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Tell me in this terribly racist country, tell me about the racism.
You can feel it. You can feel Big Nate about to lose it. You can feel it.
you face.
Okay, can I answer the question? Let me answer the question. I'm never
Sure,
going to
go ahead.
address it again because there's a bunch of people out there that try to personalize this stuff. All right, so here's the answer to the question. When I graduated from college, I started working at a Fortune 500 company. First of all, I went to a real conservative university. I didn't know it was conservative before I went there. And I noticed and I saw what kind of racism is out there. I was like, okay, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Some people, you know, they don't get along. It is what it is. Now, let me move on to the Fortune 500 company stuff. When I started working at this corporation, what I later came to find out is what these guys wanted to do is they wanted to start what's called a MBE, so a minority business enterprise. So minority business enterprise from the 1960s, basically what the government would do is they would say, okay, we're going to give all these opportunities for minorities and women, and we're going to set aside a percentage of contracts, that type of thing for government, right? Government contracts to the minorities. So what these clowns did, and they are clowns and they are they're clowns and they are racist. What these dudes did, they're like, okay, we're going to hire this guy and we're going to use them to get access to all these different government programs. Whoa, wait a minute. If minorities are getting discriminated because of their skin color, what that really means is whites are getting stuff because of their skin color. So that's really what white privilege and white supremacy comes to. It never occurred to them that a lot of what they got is because they're white. During GI Bill after World War II, that was mostly for whites. So they got stuff because of the skin color. When you have all these different corporations and all the executives are white and none of those are minorities, if minorities are not there, if there's no minorities, you can't say that there's no minorities that are qualified to be in this position. Someone has to be qualified.
I still haven't answered the question.
Yeah, I answered the question.
Yeah,
Yeah, I answered the question. They're over here trying to use me to get access to these different programs that were created because of white racism. To get more resources.
Trying to use you. Who forced you to work there?
How would I know that?
Who forced you to work there?
Okay, I'm a principled person. I'm not working there.
Listen to the stupidity. Who forced you to work there? No matter where you work, you're still entitled to a certain level of rights. No one can just mistreat you based on the fact that because they are paying you. They have to follow rules and regulations. Just like you have to follow rules and regulations to stay employed.
And I left that corporation. So I'm a principled person.
Why didn't you file suit?
No, there's no suits to file. I left and they want to use some other minority. No, they can use another minority.
This vague story about some corporation using you to advance themselves because they got a minority on there. That's the racism that you face.
Yeah,
getting a job opportunity is race.
Are you fucking kidding me? Corporations use minorities for numbers and quotas all the time to be eligible for government benefits and resources, and choose to keep you stagnant at a certain level and don't promote you, and they underpay you. So what the hell are you talking about in regards to there's no racism?
Racism now.
All right, it wasn't a job opportunity. It was so I could be a figurehead for a shell company so they could filter that money back up to their Fortune 500 parent company. So you're going to tell me that when these guys, when they're making 10s or 20 or 30 or $100 million off these projects for a program that was created to combat racism,
and
you
JR
tell me that's not racist.
The guy that they needed to make all this work and happen. JR.
Yeah, because you got to have a minority that's the head of these companies. The minority has to own 51% or more.
You were head of the company.
They were going to make me the figurehead, the name of the company. I left.
They told you this. They told you we're going to make you the figurehead.
Yeah, of course. And then what I did is I left to another Fortune 500 company. Yeah, I mean, I gave you the story. You want the full story? There you go. There's your story. But see, these conversations aren't about
getting a job opportunity, making great money, being put as a head of a department or at the top of some industry is racism because they were going to funnel tens of millions.
Now that guy explained everything that occurred, and from his interpretation, all he got of it was, well, you got a great job and you got great pay and you got this and you got that. Yes, if you're qualified, you're supposed to get paid what you're supposed to get paid as far as from an industry standard. But also in that, you're supposed to be treated a certain way. You have human rights, you have civil rights, you have rights as a worker. It just doesn't stop there. A corporation can't treat you any kind of way they want to because you work there.
billions of. Oh my God, dude.
Okay,
so JR.
Okay, well let me move it back to the macro. So see, here's the thing when it comes to this stuff. If racism doesn't exist, according to some of you guys in the space, because
I've never
guys,
said racism doesn't exist. I've never said
but
that.
you're trying to personalize it. You know, a lot of people try to play
racism is a personal issue.
Okay,
what are you talking about?
Hey, can I finish my statement? I'll pass the mic to you. If racism doesn't exist or it has very little impact in society, let's sit there and play the parsing of words game. If racism has little impact in society, who ended it? Who made it worse? Or who lessened the racism in society?
Societies advance, they mature.
Okay.
In the 1950s, Jesus, I forgot the guy's name who was running for president. There was an issue whether or not the civil rights legislation was needed. Right? What was the goddamn president's name? I mean, the gentleman that ran for president.
George Wallace?
No, not George Wallace. Look, into JR.
Unfortunately, some casualties were taken out.
You literally just said you don't care. Yeah. I'm glad we didn't use U.S. troops to slaughter tens of thousands. We used drones. But I'm angry we killed 500,000 Iraqis.
Obama took out bin Laden. Obama took out bin Laden on foreign policy.
That's nonsense.
Yeah, of course. No. Who took him out then? Well, who took him out? Someone took him out. Who took him out?
The Prime Minister of Pakistan already said bin Laden had been dead for years, and then she got assassinated shortly after saying that. So, whatever, dude. This is ridiculous. You literally have contradicted yourself several times. You went from, I don't want to risk U.S. troops to kill people, killing them with drones is good, then complaining about 500,000 dead Iraqis.
You're twisting the words. No, I didn't say killing people is good. I said if you got to choose an option and you got to defend this country.
So killing people is okay as long as it's not other people doing it. That's literally what you just said.
No, that's not what I. That's not what I said.
You just said.
That's not what I said. What I said is, you got to defend this country. If you got to defend this country, and there's going to be some times, unfortunately, there's going to be some casualties of war. That's what's going to happen. At the end of the day,
why weren't the 500,000 Iraqis casualties of war?
They were. Yeah, they were.
Well, why are you complaining about it?
No, but you don't understand. See, the thing is, it was bad policy.
No, I don't understand anything you're saying, John.
No, it was bad policy in the first place. That's all there is to it. Bad policy in the first place. Obama took us out of Iraq, and he did a good job. And the thing is, see here's the thing.
Obama took us out of Iraq, and Biden gave them like $300 billion in weapons. Congratulations. Excuse me. He gave the Afghanis $300 billion in weapons.
See, I know when you can't take
hundreds of Apache helicopters and hundreds of thousands of armaments and guns and ammo. Good deal.
So
I'm done with your faggot ass.
Now here go the bullshit. Now I want to get to this because see, this is when this Negro was about to lose it. He couldn't contain himself. He had to act an ass.
You fucking clown. You're a fucking clown. That's what you are, boy. I came up here trying to respect you. You have so little respect for black men and our accomplishments. You put our goddamn accomplishments on a fucking political party. You need to shut your goddamn mouth before you get ran out of this space.
I'm ready to hear.
You think you're talking to?
I'm ready to hear.
I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to. I broke my back for everything I have. Busted my ass to raise my children. Don't you dare take my goddamn accomplishments and put it on anybody else. Motherfucker.
Okay, so like I say, if you
motherfucker, don't you dare.
If you care, hey, you're going to moderate this teapot. He's not even letting me get a word in. Can I speak?
You done crossed the line, boy.
Can I speak? Do I get to speak?
Fuck you. I shouldn't allow you to speak anymore, nigga.
It's not your platform.
Where in the fuck is Teapot? This is supposed to be a fucking debate. And see, Teapot, well, I just let everybody, say and do. Come on, man. What if I'm like, come on, Teapot. You let this man berate this guy verbally, and you don't interact, you don't intermingle into it, and you don't intervene at all. and the guy didn't want any smoke. Now, me on the other hand, I would have cursed Big Nate ugly ass out. You know, y'all know I don't give a shit. I'll talk about his grandma, his mama. It don't make me no difference. I don't have no values when it comes to shit like this. But this is how Teapot moderates, letting little Big Nate just speak and just say all kinds of shit.
Form.
You're lucky it ain't.
So
I'm done with your faggot ass. Shut up. Tried to respect your monkey ass.
He trying to call somebody monkey. Nigga, have you looked in the motherfucking your orangutan looking ass? Shut the fuck up. But the thing about it, man, this guy was calm the whole fucking time this nigga was acting an ass. And where the fuck is Teapot? Dude dropped F-bombs left and right. Nothing was said to him.
Better watch your fucking mouth, boy. I don't play no games. Motherfucker.
So like I said, just remember the opportunities that minorities have in this society are because of Democrats. That's all I have
Don't
to
you
say.
dare.
That's all I have to say.
The job I had and me breaking my back with dozens of goddamn licenses, dozens of goddamn iCar registrations, and all the training I did and put it on the goddamn pedocrat party. Who the fuck do you think you are? In here representing, you don't represent shit but your own warped fucking thinking and the nonsense that dribbled out of your fucking mouth during this debate. That's all you represent, JR. You're among men. You might need to find someplace else.
No fucking intervention from the goddamn moderator.
To be.
See, the thing about it is, and this is one of the core concepts, female nature. Female nature is universal. I don't come to this space or the white manosphere or any other space to really delve too deeply into race. Now, I have discussed race, and we have discussed race today.
You don't delve deeply into race, and all you talk about is racism.
No, all you talk about is the Skittles community. You talk so much about them like you're educating.
All you talk about is the Skittles community.
You taught me so much.
You're a clown, dude.
I don't think anyone in the space.
You're a clown,
anyone in the space knows more about.
You're calling.
I don't know why do you know so much
people
about them?
promoting pedophilia.
I'm confused why you understand. I'm confused why you know so much about that community because I don't really get it. You're teaching me so much stuff. I gotta say,
because you're an idiot. That's why.
No, because it's just not my.
Because there's so much you don't know. You fucked up coming to a debate on a black man's platform to insult a black man that has accomplished quite a lot, and put my hard work on a fucking political party. I wouldn't care if it's the Republicans or the Democrats. You don't attribute my fucking success to anybody but me.
When you concede the point that Democrats
I ain't concede no fucking points to you, boy.
To a good point
I ain't concede no fucking points to you. You're a clown.
Okay, say what you will, but my thing is, it's okay if you don't want to sit there and admit that part of your success is due to the Democrats. That's factual. I don't care if you say.
Oh, you're a clown and a half, JR. You're gonna come to a black man's space and tell black men the only reason you're successful is because of what the Democrats have done to you. You trying to get yourself strung up, boy. That's
you're
what you're trying to do.
No, you're playing.
You're trying to get strung up.
I didn't say that was the only reason.
You're trying to get strung up, boy.
I mean, believe what you want, man. I'm telling you what the thing is. You know it's true.
I'm telling you what the thing is.
That is a racist ass statement. You gonna get strung up, boy. That's some shit a racist white man would say. You about to get strung up, boy? Is that what we're doing? Is that what thinking black men are saying in the manosphere? You're about to get strung up, boy? What the hell? Wow.
Yes. All you've said is nonsense.
No, it's
That's
not
all that's come out of your fucking mouth. Black people need to attribute any success we have to the Democrats. How do you like that, brothers? All your sacrifice, all the money and debt you went into in college, all your training, your certifications, everything. You attribute it to
You wouldn't know about that because you dropped out of college.
the Democrat Party. How do you feel about that, gentlemen? Let JR know how you feel about that.
Okay, let's talk about the grants. You want to talk about the grants? Is it true or not true that some of those grants became more available because of the Democrats? Is that true or not?
God.
Is it true or not that the Pell Grant
The
was
Pell
established?
Grants?
Yeah, the Pell Grant. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I don't know if I can attribute it fully to the Democrats, but government involvement in college education is why college education is no longer affordable. Let me tell you.
This fool flat out stated government involvement in education is why it's so expensive, when basically 70, I'm going to say less than 20% of the population at any given time can even afford to go to fucking college paying cash. This is ludicrous. But he's a college dropout. I wouldn't expect him to understand. Like, brother, do you know how many people can afford to pay college cash? Do you understand the advent of the goddamn Pell Grant and the goddamn
like, does he go back and listen to himself? Does he realize how he sounds? He sounds ridiculous.
He couldn't afford to go to college that one semester he went if he didn't have a fucking this stuff is, you know how much money the United States, it's the reason why they back those fucking loans.
Yeah, well, who is that? That's not who is that? What is that?
Well, it's Sally Mae, and then it went
Sally
to
Mae. Yeah, I didn't want to say Fannie Mae. I knew it had a million. It's Sally Mae. Yeah,
Sally Mae. But do we understand that the government that's an investment that the government puts into society to assure that the society can function? This is what separates the United States from other countries.
Right. And that's benefiting. When you do that, you're basically investing in the human capital of your society. Is going to make your society better.
Yes.
An educated society is a civilized society.
It's a more advanced society. It's a more functional society.
Yeah.
I mean, this I don't get. So that means if we're going to take his quasi conservative perspective, that means that basically 85% of everybody in college shouldn't be in college. I'm just saying, because only 20 to 15% can afford.
Right. Yeah. Like he's espousing these elitist notions and not realizing how he's excommunicating himself. Like, that means you shouldn't be partaking in it because you ain't got, like, the majority of Americans don't have it like that. What are you talking about, dude?
No,
if it wasn't for the government subsidizing these things for their American citizens, the majority of the citizenry wouldn't be able to get post-secondary education.
Also, he's not taking into the fact that our tax dollars are going to our tax dollars fund that.
Yep.
So why wouldn't we take advantage of something that our tax dollars are paying for?
It's stupid, man. Like, and not only is his talking points whack, but just his tone, his tenor. You running around here calling everybody the F-bomb. You running around here like I'm always suspicious of men who proclaim to be straight, worrying about the sexuality of other men. I don't get that. I was listening to it last night, and he's running around here calling everybody F-bomb. Everybody's a F. It's just ridiculous. Like, you really think you sound intelligent? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, but again, Brother X let the shit happen.
Right.
So he gives him free will. And my whole thing, look, I try to tell X, listen, man, you're gonna sit here and tell me not to go after his kids. But he is the one who exposed the information about his children.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody asked him to say his daughter. He told the story about his daughter leaving him when she was 17 to go live with her mom. He the one threatened me that with his son to kick my ass.
Right.
Like, so you expect him to say all this fucking irresponsible shit about his own kids, and then I can't say shit back, just repeating what he stated?
Right.
Like, come on. Like,
yeah, because I just so happened to catch it, and right when I tuned in, you had just dropped down. So I was like, damn, what?
No, I didn't drop down. He put me down
Oh,
twice.
so he put you down. See,
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on at the time. I just because I saw you. I said, let me see what D Darrell and them talking about over here. And as soon as I clicked on it when it came on, I just saw your avatar going down. So I was like, dang, I didn't even know that. I didn't even
No,
catch
I would
none of
think
that first
that's one of the reasons why I went live. Because this is not just about Lil Big Nate. It's also about, come on, Teapot. I got put down. Big JX got put down in the queue. I got put down twice. The second time he put me down, I should have left. I was in there for like 25 minutes waiting to get back up. I just said fucking and left and went to Big J live.
Right.
So dude, you unchastise me for saying what I stated, but you let this man say the F word like 100 times.
Yeah, like and the way he
worse according to YouTube.
It is. That's way worse. That's what I'm saying. Like Teapot channel could get taken down for that. You can't do that.
You can't.
I'm surprised Teapot letting them do it.
That's the thing. I complained about Teapot. Man, I told him, man, you let these guys look, man. I understand. He said, "Well, D Darrell, no, I appreciate you for coming. I understand. I'm going into enemy territory. I know that none of the people that like me. I get that. I don't mind going to blows 101. But goddamn, how the hell you gonna hold me to a different standard? These guys calling me everything under the goddamn sun and shit. Then they disrespecting your channel. I'm not trying to get your channel shut down. If you say stuff like that, they can get your channel shut down for hate speech.
Yep.
Like I'm not just saying that because, but the dude disrespecting your platform. just
and he knows, and if he has any sense, he knows you can't go around using that type of rhetoric on these social platforms. Yeah, that's a good way to lose your channel. That's one of the easiest ways to lose it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
The dude, the channel got shut down. The channel got the dude put me down, like, I guess because he saw Lil Big Nate was getting mad. And I'm gonna show what ended up happening. And I'm gonna explain how and when I got put down. I didn't leave on my own. No.
Okay. Yeah, see, I didn't even know that.
He forced me down. That's why I was tripping, because I'm like, wait a minute, man. Like, damn. And then he let a truism go in there, singing, yelling.
Yeah, because I went on the panel too. I went on a panel later, and he was doing that. Like, I don't have time for these clowns, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time for the coonery, the buffoonery. They want to sit here and make excuses for white supremacy and align themselves with white supremacy just because they believe that black women get hurt in the process. Like, I don't have time for niggas with that bullshit, man.
Right. And I'm like, you let these guys get up there and say all this shit, and then as soon as I say something back, oh, you can't say that D Darrell and you can't go. I'm like, brother, this dude, and see, he trying to lie, but Little Big Nate sent. I know the guy. He from another sector. He from the Umar sector that gave him those fucking videos. I know the guy that did it. That offered him the videos. And he took those videos and he gave those videos. He submitted those videos to Channel 2 News in Houston. He did that shit.
About you.
About me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he did it, and now he want to backpedal.
So he's trying to impact your business on a real world level
So
this is what I be telling you about these people, man.
Right.
That's what I be talking about, but you for family. You know what I'm saying? That's what I be talking about with these dudes, man. So you trying to impact another black man's livelihood of how he take care and provide for his family because y'all.
But I can't say shit about your family, but but you want to come after my money and affect me and my family.
Exactly. That's crazy.
And I'm telling Teapot, come on, man. Like, are you serious? But let me get to this. I just want everybody to hear this shit, and we can continue.
Tell you a story, silly young man. Let me tell you a story. My supervisor went to Clemson. Right? He's in his 60s. When he comes to do ride reviews with me, we talk about how he was able to pay for going to Clemson back in the late 70s and 80s by working a job and selling cars on the side. Then here comes the federal government guaranteeing loans in the tens of thousands. So what do colleges do? Hey, the federal government's going to guarantee loans. we can absolutely explode the cost of college now.
This line, mother, are you fucking serious? Did you hear that? This fool gonna sit here and say that the government gave tens of millions of guaranteed loans, and that's a bad thing. And then he gonna say the cost of college exploded. That's a damn lie. The cost of college did not increase astronomically until the mid 2000s. I'm gonna say 2005, maybe 2010 or something like that. Over the last 10 to 15 years. Before that, college was a gradual increase. So I don't know what he's talking about. College was fairly. I went to Southern University. I went to Southern. My tuition, because I stayed off campus, I stayed with my uncle, was $1,000 a semester. That was cheap, even in the mid 90s. College was not that expensive. I mean, depending on where you wanted to go, particularly a state college or an HBCU, those colleges were not that expensive to go to. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
It sound like my man been watching too much Fox News, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's like that's his prime. That's the only information that he exposes himself to without any inclination of anything else, any alternatives. Like, dude, what's wrong with the government subsidizing higher education so that more people can go to college? And I'm just saying, what you just heard, what he stated. Now, what do you think about? I mean, how do you respond to that?
It's idiocy. That's just, and see, that's what happens when you're parroting conservative talking points, because we already know that a lot of those conservative talking points exist because they don't want black people to get anything. We have Lee Atwater on tape saying it. So anything that makes upward social mobility easier in America from a governmental standpoint, conservatives are going to be against, because they know their opposition to it disproportionately harms and affects black people. They know that. He sounds stupid, man. Like I said, like he's been watching too much Fox News.
None of shit. But hold on, it don't stop there. Let's continue.
And we'll put millions, tens of millions of Americans deep into debt for their college education, when during the 60s and 70s and beforehand, people could work a job and pay for college. Now, why don't you tell me how wonderful it's been, the government involving themselves in the college education system? Tell me how well it's worked out, with college debt being one of the most crippling aspects of debt in our country. Go ahead and tell me how well things worked out.
Okay, let's talk about it. Well, if you see it from a conservative perspective and you show personal responsibility, you don't go to the colleges that are too expensive. There you go. There's your answer. You go to the colleges that are cheaper. If all
the colleges are uber expensive now. You can't even afford to go to college, basically.
No, not all of them. There's some good colleges that aren't that expensive. And here's the thing: you gotta ask the following question when it comes to the government.
I've answered all your questions. You ain't
now you interrupting.
I'll answer the question you just asked. You said, "Okay, look what happened when government programs got involved with the college system." Then you gotta, okay, this is what you gotta ask: why did they get involved? Well, they got involved because a certain group of people were disproportionately poor, and it's still true, and that's racial minorities. And for whites, they didn't have as much access to these programs. So yeah, in theory, what you're saying makes a lot of sense. And there has been some runaway. It's become a problem where they turned it into for-profit type thing. But then once you start talking about how the college education system became for-profit, then you got to move on to the different programs. And you know what we get to? We get to healthcare, which is a program that the Republicans, they didn't want to address. They cried for a decade. They literally cried for an entire decade, talking about how we're going to roll it back. And meanwhile, they could address the rights for men or different things that would put men at the head of the household, that would establish more secure families. And what do? They do nothing. That's what.
Okay, let me stop right there, because I want to get back to this college, because it's going back to the household thing. So he's going to sit there and say that college debt is a bad form of debt, when college debt at that time was some of the best forms of debt you could get because the interest rates are low. Like, I don't get this. The interest rates of college didn't start going up until like the last 10, 12 years. But back in that time, college debt was one of the best forms of debt that you can get outside of a mortgage or something like that. They go like, particularly if your house is going up in value. Like, how in the hell you invested in your future with debt that is backed by the government, I say, at a very low interest rate? How the hell that's bad debt? Explain to me. I mean, how in the fuck the government backing, let's say you go to college, you're gonna spend 70, 80 grand. When I got a master's degree and a bachelor's degree for about 55,000. That's cheap. So you telling me that 55K that I invested in myself, in which I make my business make more than 55K a month? So you mean to tell me that 55K I spent for a bachelor's and a master's degree afforded me to have a business that makes more than somewhere between 60 to 70,000 a month? That's a bad investment? What math are you calculating? Tell me, understand
this
this.
is stupid, man.
So you telling a doctor who gonna get well over $150,000 to $200,000 in debt from medical school and so forth, but you're making over $250,000 to $300,000 to $500,000 plus a year? How is that bad debt?
Right.
The only and my thing is the interest rates on, I don't know what the interest rates are on student loans right now, but I know when I went to school, the interest rates were real low on student loan debt. And it's tax deductible to pay the interest. So what kind of account? I mean, I don't know, man. Just am I missing? Like, is he really thinking full scale what he's saying? Like that the interest that you pay on student loan debt a year is tax deductible. He wants people to go to work, basically, which is going to hinder your ability to learn the time you put into your education. You want people to get full-time jobs and pay their way through college, which is going to take longer. And you're not going to get the full experience because half the time you're trying to manage your work and your job. I mean, your work and school, which makes it harder for you. I mean, I did work when I went to college, but I only worked like 10, 20 hours a week, 20, 25 hours at the most, a part-time job.
You know what? I guarantee you, if you ask him what policies do the Republicans espouse that he agree with, and it'll all be relegated to things that have to deal with women from his vantage point, because the only reason why he's aligning himself with Republicans is because he feels like that it's Democratic policies that's enabling black women. That's the only thing. That's the only reason
That
why.
is stupid.
And it's stupid.
That is so stupid. I'm like, what is this shit about? Like, do you understand that black men and black women will always be forever interconnected? How do you get black people unless you have black? Like, so I'm gonna say this, Amiri. I really think, and you can tell me what you think about this, give me your feedback. Okay. They really want legislation and laws that are written in a way to positively affect black men and at the same time simultaneously causing harm to black women. Like, I don't think
that's absolutely it. That's absolutely it. You're right. That's
I mean, but how the hell you can do? What the fuck is that?
It's stupid, man. And but see, and this is the thing, they feel that somehow you got to realize, like, there's a lot of brothers, and you hear BGS say this all the time. There's a lot of brothers who feel like they've been left behind by black women. Like, black men have been put behind black women.
How?
That's what I'm saying. How? Like,
I want to know how.
Matter of fact, D-Durrell, because that's why I went up there, because the last thing I heard Little Big Nate say was black women have power over black men. And so what I wanted to go up there and ask him, what I was going to ask him was, tell me how black women can see to it winning where you can't live, winning where you can't work, how much you're going to be paying, making in terms of minimum wage, or you see what I'm saying? Like these very real world things that have to do with your life outcome. How do black women have any power to control or affect any of that? How? There's no power that black women exercise that you don't. What they have a problem with is the fact that these sisters have citizenship rights. It's stupid.
I don't get this. Like my thing is okay. Black women do not have any real political power.
Right.
Like they don't. I'm just gonna say black people don't have real complete. We have influence. There's pockets of people who can, affect things and so on. But if black women had real political power, it would inadvertently affect us in a positive manner too. Because they have sons, they have children, they have brothers, they have fathers. You think that black women are going to ignore their male family members and cause harm to them?
Right.
That don't even make sense. This shit so I'm just gonna, once I become, let's say I can't use Kamala. Okay, let me use just some other person. Let's say Maxine Ward or someone like that. She gets a governor or I don't know, something on the federal level. So she's just going to forget all of my male family members who helped me along the way. The hell with them. I'm just going to support the rest of the country, other demographics, except for the black man. He's just going to be left out. He's just going to be left out. I'm going to help everybody except the very man that made me. Like this shit is like, I don't know, man. It's mind-boggling that people say this, but you got people in the chat. Oh man, little BIGNATE cooking. Man, he killing them. Man, little BIGNATE is a genius.
Right.
BBS is a philosopher and shit. Like I'm like, man, this master. I'm like, come on, man. Like seriously. But let me finish because here go more fuckery.
Yeah.
What they do.
Anything else you want to say? I just want to get the closing statements. This is ridiculous. You've answered none of my questions. You haven't dealt with the fact that you're a walking, talking contradiction, being a Democrat and talking about that you're for men's rights.
Yeah.
Nothing could be more ridiculous on his face. You refer to the Skittles community to diminish the issue of a political party promoting pedophilia now. How do you feel about the Democrat Party changing the name of pedophiles to minor attracted persons? How do you feel about that?
Never heard of it. You're the expert on it, so
I've never heard of it.
Yep, never heard of it.
I wish I never heard of you. All right, how about that? Fucking ridiculous. These goddamn leftists are all the same.
Wow.
Just like the weirdo homosexual D. Durrell.
You see that? The weirdo homosexual D. Durrell. This is the shit this guy gets away with, and nothing is said about it. No teapot, nobody says anything.
They're fucking clowns. All they do. You're here to listen to me. But you want to talk shit about me. But you're here to listen to me.
All right. That is going to bring rapid fire.
Platform is against everything that we stand for in this space. I have asked several leftist Democrat men in this space, how in the world can you be a Democrat and be in this space? How can you make thousands of hours of content condemning black women's behavior and then vote with them? Vote with the party that subsidizes all, not just black women's, all these women's terrible behavior. How in the hell do you do that? And I've yet to have one of you be able to answer the question. This is how you defeat opponents in debates. You ask them questions that they can't answer. These are not questions that can't be answered. They're just not smart enough to because they haven't pondered these issues. You are a contradiction. And you've insulted enough black men in this space with your fucking nonsense. I don't know what pleasure you derive out of being amongst us, but you might want to think twice before you insult the men in this space. The men in this space have what they have because of their hard work and their sacrifice. And you better watch your fucking mouth when you talk about us if you want to feel welcome here. I'm not playing with you. You watch your fucking mouth, just like I tell these goddamn women. I'm done. Motherfucker.
All right, stop the clock. Stop the clock. Brother JR, you are up, sir. 7 minutes on the clock. Close the statements. Pull the trigger.
As you've been listening to everyone out there in the chat, all our fans all over the world, our friend over here has an obsession with the Skittles community and what they do. I don't think I've ever heard so much educational material on one group of people in such a short amount of time. And that's okay. That's okay. That can be his pet issue. But just because he cares about something in a deep way, it doesn't mean the rest of us have to care to the level that he does, whether we agree with what he's saying or we don't. So, you know, the thing about it is on my end, like I was saying before, and I'll say it again, if racism is less of a problem in our society, who made it less of a problem? You know who it is? The Democrats. If racism still does exist to a higher level, who's the one that's addressing it? Democrats. So it doesn't really matter how you cut the pie, you still end up in the same corner.
So I'm gonna stop this and move forward a little bit. I'm gonna go to this part where Lil Big Nate's still talking.
Get those votes in. Get them in. Get them in, Negroes. Get them in. Because the poll will close at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Like I said, if you wish to ask questions of my debaters, they must be sent in the form of a super chat.
So,
if you want them read.
So basically, Little Big Nate did win the debate, you know, because based on the people who are there, because it's basically an echo chamber. So he's going to win the debate. But in that, okay, he got into more disrespectful talk.
Okay,
You
so
are ridiculous. It's everywhere.
Okay, so explain to me why Marco Rubio and these other clowns 10 days ago.
Yeah, Marco Rubio's a fucking clown. I hope he gets primaried in Florida. I hope they primary the shit out of him.
Like I said, when the Republican Party really and truly starts standing up for men in a real way.
Oh my God. When the Republican Party starts standing up for men, I don't need nobody to stand up for me. I stand up for myself.
Okay, stand up for yourself and go live in a cabin. Get away from all this.
Why do I need to live in a cabin?
You need to live in a cabin because as a conservative, an extreme right conservative, you don't care about anyone else but yourself.
I don't. Okay. I'm the one talking about family values, traditional family, and I don't care about the society.
Okay. If you want to, if you want to address stuff with real policy, then you start getting. Okay, if you want to address stuff with real policy, then you start getting into the point of where you're starting to become more of a conservative, a Republican. If you want to address stuff,
tell me what the fuck to do. Okay. Who the hell are you?
Fuck, bro.
You are way out of your line, boy.
Man, what is wrong with this man? This is his response when you challenge him. These are his responses. What's going on, Queen, aka Miss Merv? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. I'm just looking at all these. What exactly are y'all fighting about at the end? Like, what is the root issue?
You say, what is the real issue?
The root issue, like, is this like a conservative versus liberal thing, or like what's going on?
Okay, the debate from what when I first came in there, they went off the rails on debate. They were supposed to be debating the United States and race issues, right? They were supposed to be debating about race and racism, okay? And the fact that Lil Big Nate claimed that there's no such thing as racism. Racism don't exist no more, which we know that shit ain't true. And the other guy, JR, was on the affirmative that racism continues to exist and how it affects the black community. So being that Little Big Nate is manosphere, he had to take it into this whole point of view of the conservative / the Republican. I mean, the conservative versus the liberal, and the fact that the liberal Republicans only care about black women and they don't care about black men. So he forced it to go into that lane, which was it was not intended to go that route.
So this was supposed to be a racism debate that turned into a political debate mixed with gender war.
Yes, and all the fuckery that came along with it.
Yeah, that was disgusting. And T-Pac ought to be ashamed of himself for letting stuff go on like that go on his channel. But that's one reason why I stopped going over there, because they try to hail him up as a elder in the space, and elders don't participate in nonsense. That's not how the elders behave, and he just keeps doing it. He's fair and neutral, but he's not. I've sat there and watched and all of that. He's not fair and neutral.
Right. But he allows this type of talk. They get up there. They can speak reckless. This is the personality of the platform of the debate.
I notice they keep putting Lil BIGNATE up there because him and Truist got to be the biggest ass clowns in space. They don't do nothing but get up there and act a fool, scream, holler, say derogatory comments and all. That's not how you have a conversation, let alone a debate.
Right.
It's ridiculous. And then I don't know why they think that. The funny thing is they'll say all this about family and children and all of this and be upset that they can't get a woman. But what woman listening to the things coming out of their mouth will put themselves in a position to be subservient or abused by them? That's crazy.
Facts. It don't make no sense. Like what woman want to sign up to be fucking humiliated and dehumanized on the basis of you can't think for yourself. You can't make no decisions. Your education, according to them, your education don't have any value. You just follow what I do, listen to what I say. You can't work, and I'm making $30,000 a year, but I want all this full submission and shit like that. That's what they want.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, who's gonna sign up for that? And then it's just disgusting, and it's even worse that if you a woman in the space, the way that they'll talk to you, especially me. Some of them dudes have said some of the most horrible things to me, associated me with things that I'm not even associated with, just simply because I'm a black woman. That is terrible. I don't know what is going on.
This has been something that has plagued the space. Is getting worse.
Another thing that's interesting. The other thing that's interesting is they'll say a woman shouldn't have an education, she don't need to work and all of this. But when they talk about their daughters, they don't talk about their daughters not working and how they taught them to be submissive or none of that. Matter of fact, well, let me take that back, because I was on a panel with Nate on Sunday, and he started talking under his daughter's clothes, which I thought was very strange. I was like,
somebody told me that.
What you mean? What you mean he started talking under his daughter?
He's talking about her being a virgin, or she's still a virgin.
He predicated his pride on the fact that he raised his daughter, who is 21 years old, to still be a virgin. I'm like, why
know that?
Exactly. Hey, I said the same thing when on BIGNATE on Big J channel. Another woman said the same thing. And
you think she's gonna come and tell you like
a virgin?
Yeah, like she's not gonna come tell you that, man. And listen, I don't want to attack this dude personally because I've never had any interaction with him. I don't know him, but look, we all have eyes, we all can see, and it's not lost on me that you have a guy who let's be honestly isn't attractive,
By far.
talking about who black women are giving the box to and not giving it to. Like you don't think that in other words, I don't believe you need more people. I think there's some jealousy there, and there's some fact that you're not really having the success rate of getting the cookies from the sisters. You're not an attractive dude.
He not.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like sisters just lined up to jump your bone, brother. So you know what I'm saying? More often than not, people like that are actually complaining about the cooch they couldn't get.
Facts. But see, this is the thing that T-Pop wanted to jump on Big JX for not camming up. But don't you all know before the Manosphere meetup, Lil Big Nate was talking cash shit about black women looks, calling them fat, ugly, all kinds of shit for about 2 years before he cammed up. I'm serious. I'm gonna say this, Queen. I actually thought y'all was gonna go in on him harder than I'm the one that actually went the hardest on him. I thought the women was gonna attack him like crazy, and they just
I don't do that with them. They very disrespectful. Like I'm like, I'm not getting involved in that. Matter of fact, the reason why I ended up actually listening to Amiri's content, because you remember when you did the panels with the therapists or whatever?
Who, me?
The tell the Mr. Moment. Yeah, when you did the therapy panel with the women.
Yeah.
So they asked me what I thought about it, and I was like, sitting over here listening to y'all, I can understand why y'all have a problem with the language. I was like, but let's take the language away from it and look at what he's actually doing. I said, now, I'm one of these people where I'm not going to sit up here and act like I don't know that some of these women are out of control. And I'm like, he's got a therapist up there, and that's what they need. I said, so you say what you need to say to get them over there to get the help that they need. So y'all need to look at the fact that he's helping them get the help that they need. And it was some other comment that was made. And I said, well, I can't really
you're breaking up.
Say nothing to them, because what I can say is Mary is married and has a family, and I can't say that for the rest of y'all. Then the panel got all quiet. So
the married men, the single people, or the single men with no
like,
women
y'all
ever are the ones who talk the loudest.
Right.
Family and stuff. But there's a man that has a family.
Well, she dropped down, but no, she I mean, she's right on that. And see, the thing is really what you want. What you have is a lot of brothers, D. Durrell, who they weren't exactly ladies' men. The sisters wasn't checking for them in high school and coming up in their early teens and late teens and early 20s and stuff like that. And so now these dudes they may have become established. You know what I'm saying? They want to do that, and
I can't hear nothing.
Really what they want is they want these young sisters for themselves, and so they're trying to convince these young brothers that these young sisters ain't worth nothing. But really, that's what they want. Really, that's what they think. They want these younger women. They're really in competition with these young brothers for these hot young sisters out here who ain't checking for their old ass. That's really what it is. They want to wife these women up. They want to wife these younger sisters up.
They want to wife up girls old enough to be their daughters, man.
Exactly, because they know these girls are naive, don't have any life experience, so they feel like they're easier to control. A lot of this is developmentally arrested old niggas, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, so let me continue. I'm gonna just hear more of this fuckery he was saying, and then I came in.
Okay. You don't tell me what to do. I'll speak and say what I choose. The only person that can check me here is Brother Xavier. The only person that can check me on any channel I'm on is the owner of the channel. You don't tell me what to do.
Weird, sweet.
You're the one that needs to reconsider what he believes. You couldn't answer any of my questions. You couldn't. I answered all of yours. You are ridiculous. And you really fucked up saying these men didn't earn what they have in their lives.
Shout out to our fans. Thank you for coming by to listening to this. Hopefully I won. So let's see the poll.
Polls close in 1 minute, folks. Go ahead, get your vote in now, Negroes. Polls close in 1 minute. And hit that goddamn like button, too. While you hit the vote, right after that, hit the damn like button. Right after that. Or right before. I don't care. Just hit the damn like button. Do it.
These men busted their ass for what they have.
Man, you know what infrastructure is? You stupid fat fucking.
And we have been.
You don't even understand. You think you did all this shit by yourself? You are a weak.
Hold on, let me go to it right here. And here you go, going crazy. But you about to really get into it.
Go ahead, get your black asses down to Brother KIT's YouTube page. And you can also check him out at keepittechie.com. And for those of you who do not know, Brother KIT is the official timekeeper of the team.
Our taxes paid to build those roads. All these different businesses. Okay, let's say I have a construction business. I didn't build those materials.
Now, at this point, he claims that the government shouldn't intervene with public infrastructure.
Someone else gave me those pieces of wood, and someone else put together a different cement so I could use those materials so I could build a home, so I could build my construction business. Like in theory, I get it. I get where you're going with it. Like, okay, I worked hard for my family, and then I raised my family, but we're all tied together in the ways I just mentioned. Though the vehicle that I drive tomorrow, there's other people that put it together. I didn't put it together. There was a bunch of hardworking union members over there in Michigan. They put together the truck that I drive. Okay, there's a bunch of people. We're all tied together in the ways I just said. So that's the way I mean it. I don't mean it in the sense where
you said, well, I attribute my success to the Democrat Party. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, because they passed law that affect infrastructure. You dumbass. Do you know what infrastructure is? You stupid fat fucking. You don't even understand. You think you did all this shit by yourself? You are a weak ass college dropout. You a loser.
You lost just as bad as he did. You lost just as bad as he did.
Talk about that bullshit you pulled on Channel 2 News, you bastard. Tell them motherfuckers your snitching ass did to Channel 2 News.
I never followed through. I just might follow through on that.
Wait, Brother D. What are you talking about?
Now, Teapot acting like he don't. I thought I told everybody about this shit. Now, Teapot, like, what happened? What happened? Okay, all right, Teapot.
What are you talking about?
You goddamn right, nigga. I said on my channel I was going to talk to you.
Wait.
You got my channel struck. You got my channel struck, you bitch nigga. You got my channel struck for cyberbullying.
Hold on.
What did you work hard for? You didn't work for shit. You didn't work for goddamn.
Brother D. Darrell.
You a loser.
Brother D. Darrell, what are you talking about? Channel 2 News.
This nigga called KA.
I can call anybody. I emailed him.
That motherfucking Houston
I emailed them.
They tried to get my motherfucking business shut down. You ugly
no, nigga. No.
About that shit, bitch ass nigga.
Let me explain exactly what happened.
Tell them niggas about what you did.
Clown ass nigga.
About what the fuck you did, bitch.
This clown ass nigga. This clown ass nigga got my channel struck. This clown ass nigga got my channel struck for cyberbullying. This nigga did streams just insulting me, right? Because I beat the shit out of him in a debate here on TPLT.
About what you did.
I'm telling the story. If you
tell
shut
him about
up,
what you did, nigga.
You have to shut up,
what you did.
Idiot.
Tell him what you did.
I am absolutely going to tell him. I'm absolutely
Tell him what you attempted to do and you failed.
Oh my God!
You ugly looking, gremlin looking, leprechaun looking bastard.
You're the gremlin. You're the R&B nigga with the pot belly. You're a pot-belly R&B nigga.
Going to a professional event.
You're a pot-belly R&B nigga. I told you before to write me a song.
Dressed like that at a goddamn
Write me a song. Who the fuck dressed
you
like
had a
this?
fucking strap around
You're
your
talking
motherfucking
about how a
waist.
man
That
dresses.
motherfucking like some fucking.
You're talking about how a man dresses.
Nigga, where the fuck you got?
You're talking about how a man dresses.
Fucking,
I got almost 100 men to come to Atlanta with Theodore
tell
Walker.
everybody what you did, nigga.
I got almost 100 men to come to Atlanta.
Bullshit that you did. Admit
Nigga, you are garbage, Darrell. Look
Nigga,
how angry you are coming up here.
Nigga, you look like
Look
garbage,
how
nigga.
angry you are.
ain't had
Nigga,
pussy
you
since your
look
wife
like
divorced your monkey ass.
He want to say I'm the one that's angry. All that shit he said the whole night, but I'm the one that's angry.
Nigga, you look like
your
garbage.
wife divorced your bitch ass. Tell him why
Brother
your wife
D.
divorced
Darrell.
your bitch
Nigga,
ass.
Hold on.
Hold
I filed for divorce.
Nigga,
Is that-
you want to go person trying to fuck somebody?
You're
bitch?
so
that-
stupid.
No, nigga,
Is
tell
that what
everybody,
you
nigga.
came
Tell
up here for,
Oh,
Brother
man,
D.
you came
Darrell?
up here to
Tell
cry
the
like a
motherfucking
bitch.
truth, you bitch ass nigga.
That's why
Tell
you got
the
stomped like
truth.
JR
The
did.
truth, you big ass, you big,
That's why you
ugly,
got stomped like
outer
JR did.
grizzly looking
Pot
motherfucker.
belly
Tell
R&B nigga.
everybody the truth.
You
Tell them the
pot
truth
belly
that you a
R&B
bitch
nigga.
ass nigga.
Hold
You
on.
hide
Pot
behind the
belly
motherfucking
R&B
camera,
nigga.
and you are
Hold
fucking
on.
snitch ass
You
nigga.
pot belly
You are a
R&B nigga.
motherfucking snitch.
No.
Is
I'm
that-
explaining exactly what happened.
Is that what
You're
you came
fucking
up here
sick.
for, Brother D.
You're
Darrell?
a-
You came up here
you're a faggot. That's what
to
you
do
are.
that? I thought,
Excuse me, you said
Brother
what?
D. Is that what you came up here for? You know, when you come up here, I'm actually expecting you to come up here for this.
Man,
You got
I'ma
me
say-
struck for
I'ma tell you
cyberbullying.
this,
He's
I'ma
part
tell
of
you
the
this,
reason my
T-Pop.
first channel got
T-Pop,
taken.
let me let you know
This
something.
nigga did streams attacking me. The whole
little
stream.
girl,
I didn't
can you
report
see
him.
that when grown men are
I
speaking?
didn't report.
Nigga, I was popular before the man film would be popular.
Nigga, you
After,
got
nigga, I
angry.
was
That's why
successful
you
before I
ran
even
from the
came into
manosphere and
Nigga, I
came
can
back.
turn this shit down to. I can
Darrell,
take-
why didn't
I
you
can
stay
get off
gone?
this shit tomorrow.
D.
It will
Darrell, why
not
didn't you
change
stay
shit in my
gone?
life.
You said,
It will
I'm
not
leaving the
change anything in
manosphere.
my life, nigga. I'm
Why did you
successful,
come
nigga.
back?
Nigga, you trying to
Why
fuck
did
up
you
somebody
come
else's
back?
shit because you ain't reached the slimy.
You're an
looking,
effeminate
rusty ass
leftist nigger
embarrassment.
male.
That's
That's
you
what
are.
you are.
You are a grimy little bastard. That's what you are. Grimy little.
That's
slimy,
why you're up
short,
here following me.
disgusting.
That's why you
That's
came
what
up
you
here
are.
to talk to
That's
me.
what you are.
That's why
what
you're
you are.
listening
It's not
to
gonna
me
change.
on this channel.
It's not going to change, bitch.
You're listening to me.
It's not gonna
You're
change,
here
you
for
little bitch.
me.
It ain't going to change.
You're here for me. You
been
lost
that hard
70.
Let me
now this is when Big J and Lil Big Nate went at it, and then I got muted.
let me ask you a question. Yeah, because we ain't gonna do that 2 and 3 people on one person shit. We ain't doing that. Not here. We not. One at a time. All right. If he got a conversation going on with Big J, he got a conversation going on with Big J. Notice no one interrupted the Brother Big Nate and you, Brother D. Darrell, not even me. So he's dealing with Brother Big J. Just let him deal with Brother Big J. My second thing is, are you a fan of Brother Big Nate's stream, Brother Big J?
No,
But he
no, I'm not.
But you must take in a lot of his material though to know what he's been doing, right? We can
Yeah,
agree on
because
that,
no,
right?
but he just a member of a group of loser ass Negroes that thinking that shaming somebody is supposed to correct society.
Yeah, well, how would you know? Hold on a second. How would you know that unless you watch his stuff?
Well, how I know that? But I mean, come on. You know, do you really want me to?
No, I'm just
do you really want me to go
asking
there?
a simple question. How
I
would
mean,
you know
listen.
what he does unless you watch his stuff? How would you know what he does unless you watch him?
Brother X, let me answer his question if you don't mind, sir.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Down, go ahead.
The
Go ahead.
solution is simple, and I've said it several times on my channel. First of all, I make distinctions between women. I have no problem with black women. I have a serious problem with black bitches and bitches in general. Feminist, leftist, Democrat, gynocratic bitches. Will you let me finish, please? The single greatest security threat to this country is not ISIS or Al Qaeda or any of those.
Listen to this shit,
The
y'all.
single greatest security threat to the United States of America is single motherhood.
Did y'all hear this shit? Did you hear that shit? The single greatest threat is single motherhood. What kind of bullshit is that? Like to the chat, to Amiri, what the fuck? This nigga sat there and said, fuck domestic terrorism, fuck all the crime and all the shit that go on, but single motherhood is the worst threat to American civilization, to the Western civilization. Single motherhood. To be more specific, he was talking about single black motherhood. To make it more, to be more specific. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm like, where do you get this shit from, man? You can't even write a better fucking script.
Really?
Listen, if 90% of suicide victims were raised by single moms, it's a problem. If 86% of all people in correctional facilities grew up in a single mother household, that indicates a problem. The majority of rapists, runaways, you name it, the pathology, the thread of commonality that runs through it is single motherhood.
Wait a minute now. Let's talk about the hypocrisy. What you just say. So you just said what you just said, right? But then at the Madison meetup, you sitting down on the table at the table with a nigga who says pump and dump. With what's his name? Minister Snap over there. So you're a hypocrite. So how can you preach that bullshit? Mm-hmm. How can you preach that little stupid ass bullshit when your black ass sit on a goddamn table with a nigga who goes around in Chicago fucking bitches and calling them hoes and shit? So how can you talk about single mamahood when you sit with a nigga who's actually could create single mamas? You see, he
hasn't created any single mothers.
This is the hypocrisy of you manosphere nuts out there. You manosphere nuts. Quiet, I'm talking.
Why don't you read your manosphere?
No, I don't give a fuck. You manosphere nuts are part of the problem. You don't know.
Whoa. If things are so terrible here,
I'm gonna say some. No, quiet. I'm talking. What really started the problem is not these black women that you complain about. You refuse to address the environment that create the black bitch. You refuse to talk about the miseducation of boys. You refuse to talk about the economic problems that made black men in a certain position. You refuse to go there. Shut up. The only goddamn thing. Shut up. Shut the fuck up when I'm talking. Shut the hell up when I'm talking.
Mr. Peanut Butter.
No. Shut the fuck up. The problem is with you. The problem is with AJ seeing Red who's in the chat room trying to come up. The thing is with y'all is that y'all focus on the wrong shit. You niggas focus on the wrong shit all the goddamn time.
I need some help.
You niggas ain't about no solutions. Hold on. And at that master meetup, bitch, how the fuck, where's your...
No, I got muted at this point, so I couldn't say anything.
A manifesto, where's your platform?
Oh my God.
So when D-Durrell pulled up and stated that he wants to come meet up with you, I didn't miss your son.
Now, this is Aries, educated Aries going at him. Now, while they were arguing, Teapot put me in the queue.
Son said he would protect his father. I'm sorry you don't have anybody in your life that'll protect you. I'm sorry you have nobody in your life that'll protect you.
You need your son to protect you. You just
saw you stupid motherfucker. That son's almost a professional fighter. He's almost a professional mixed martial artist.
I don't give a fuck what
let him beat the shit out of a nigga.
You goddamn right. You need your son.
Nigga, my son says he's going to defend his father.
Answer my question. You need your son.
Now you're trying to switch it up.
Nigga need his son.
You stupid faggot.
You need your son.
You faggots don't have anybody that loves you.
Explain to me why you can't
You
go ahead.
faggot niggas don't have anybody that loves you. My son loves me. My son loves me. Your children don't love you. Your children don't love you. My children love me.
Fuck you and your children. I don't give a fuck about
You're a faggot.
Nigga, how your children love you
You're a
and your
faggot.
oldest daughter left you
And these girls are faggot too.
What you talking about?
You're both faggots.
Why your
You're
oldest
both
daughter left you
mentally
to live with
ill.
a mom?
You gonna fight these battles?
Explain that.
You're mad because
All
I stomped your heads in.
Again, y'all.
That's why you're mad. You're mad because I stomped your fucking heads in.
Nigga, your daughter left you to go live with a mom.
The chat agrees with me.
Hold on, because I want to get my brother AJ here, brother.
My children love me, dog. Your children don't love me.
Hold on. Everybody hold on.
Yeah, your daughter left your ass.
Hold on, because I got brother AJ here.
Talk about my daughter. You goes now or I'm out.
He getting triggered because I brought up the story about his daughter.
That nigga better get off this channel now or I'm out, brother nigga.
I'll put brother D Darrell down. Cause one thing we ain't gonna do up here.
What's up, Eric?
We're not gonna be up here talking about people's kids and all that shit.
Down, Nate.
That shit.
Where is
that shit?
Now, Teapot was doing a correction, talking about the reason he brought me down. While he was giving his explanation, little BIGNATE is still unhinged, cursing and yelling, not even allowing the man to speak on his own goddamn platform. But I get put in the queue.
Energy you got from that little big
No. No, what we not gonna do, what we not gonna do here is be talking about people's kids, people's wives, none of that shit. What you say to each other, I don't really have a problem with it. Y'all can call each other whatever the fuck you want to call each other. But once you start talking about people's kids and people's wives and all that kind of shit, you the fuck out of here. Because we ain't doing that here. We're not doing
So
it.
let me ask you this, brother. Let me ask you this.
I ain't your brother.
Is it fair for him to even mention his son defending him when that man asked him to see that man one-on-one?
I'm not talking about that. I mean, you can
because if he mentioned that means that I think that he puts it out on the table.
No.
Got your ass up, AJ said, Mr. Discharge.
Hold on.
What you need to do, AJ, is shut the fuck.
All right.
Isn't it strange?
Notice how.
Now, at that time, Big J got put in the queue. Big J got pissed off over the interaction, so Big J decided to create his own live stream when he got put down. So he didn't stay in the queue like I did. I stayed, got brought back up, and got put right back in the queue all over again.
Quiet. Notice how quiet it got when I put Big J down.
Nah, shit. He gonna say he had to. Man, Teapot is fucking. Man, I don't get this dude gonna say how quiet it got. Little BIGNATE was the loudest ass person the whole goddamn night, but look how quiet it got when BJ left. Are you serious?
Quiet it gets. I want to ask you something, brother educated Aries. What do you think is worse, attacking a man's views or attacking his children or his family or his wife? What do you think is worse?
Oh, worse is obviously attacking his children because it's personal.
Yes.
Because that means that's because his daughter don't have to be brought up. His son shouldn't have been mentioned by him.
His daughter, his children have, but his children, our children, our wives.
It was mentioned by you and D Darrell. You head.
Man, shut your fucking ass up, the man talking.
Have nothing to do with this. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, brother. Big
Control your emotions,
fucking faggot. Shut up, faggot.
Our families have nothing to do.
We weren't about bringing up children, but he constantly saying faggot. Like, how many times has this brother said the F word? Constant. But nothing was said about him disrespecting other black men, but it's all about what everybody else is saying to him.
Ass nigga.
With us men up here talking.
You dummy.
You're absolutely right. It should be a one-on-one situation.
Yeah, we don't have nothing. Our families don't have anything to do with
any
of this shit.
I firmly believe that.
They're not on here. My wife, my kids, my nephews, my grandchildren, they're not on here. I am.
Right.
I have opened myself
up. When I hear somebody
for
say,
this.
and I quote, "I'm going to get my son,"
you're a liar. You're a fucking liar. I said my son told me that
I don't hear you because
he said, Dad, I will beat the hell out of those guys if they approach you.
Lower your fucking voice,
That's what my son told me, you
Lower
piece
your
of
fucking
shit.
voice,
You
bitch.
piece of shit.
Okay, I'll be a position.
So I'm gonna stop it there. I think I said enough. Everybody get the gist. But see that was pretty much all the fuckery that happened that whole night. I went on Big J channel. We talked about the stuff that was going on. I'm gonna say this. I like Teapot. I want to go back and debate, but man, you got to show some more discernment in regards to who can say what, when, and how. It can't be the people who are just who are visitors. Like I mean, I've supported Teapot channel just as much as anybody else for the most part. Like I'm not a new person to that platform. I've been doing debates on Teapot channel for over 2 years. Longer than most of the people that are in the chat. But I'm the person that gets placed in the damn queue or get muted and all this other stuff. And then even the damn Streamlab bot was trying to silence me. That Teapot gave me a mod stick, a wrench. So like, damn, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Just let Big Nate curse me out and just take it? I can't stand up for myself. I can't speak on things. When it comes to his children, he put his business out on the YouTube streets. Nobody asked him to talk about his children. He did that. Nobody gave a damn, really. He let the world know his son was a trained fighter. No one asked you that. No one really cared. But now all of a sudden, when people bring up the shit he said, oh, we're not supposed to say nothing about it. Well, he shouldn't say anything about it. So, any last words, my brother Amiri? Anything else you wanted to bring to the stage today? And see, and there go another little trifling minstrel show. Fucking Jimmy the Cricket looking ass up there thinking he can sing and dance and all this other different shit. The fucking stepping fetching ass Negro a truism. Look at him, guys. What you're gonna do? What you see? That's what I'm saying. There's little Negroes like this. Is little Negroes like a truism that didn't have a voice in life. Mad that black women wouldn't give him any play, so now he all proud he got his white queen.
Yeah, exactly.
He got the white queen. He got his white queen, but he's still in black spaces.
Yeah, exactly. He think he's strutting his stuff with that white woman. Nigga, don't nobody give a fuck, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Don't nobody care, man. Nobody give a damn what y'all. You know what I mean? These dudes are tripping. He was doing that last night. Listen, man, I'm not going back and forth with your clown show shit. You know what I'm saying? I deal with intellectual stuff, man. Like you gotta be coming with a real argument. You know what I'm saying? And something that you read, some type of literature that's academic or intellectual in origin. I ain't doing this dumb shit. The maggle and the daggle. I don't know what the fuck that mean, man. You sound ridiculous. These are middle-aged
SYSBM shit. Yeah, that's that SYSBM jargon. They use that daggle maggle and all that shit like that. That dumbass fucking childish ass shit.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, man. Daggle. I think daggle is for the females and maggle is for the men.
Yeah, but I call them the waggle. I came up with a new term for them today, the waggle.
Yeah, I used to call them. I used to call them the faggles. They used to get mad.
Yeah, that's a better one, the faggles.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, dude, like, you let it be known. Okay, you got a white wife. Whoop-de-doo. Like, you the only black man that got a white wife. Like, so my thing is this: if you're not in the community, at least you claim you're not in the community. You got your white wife. You got your mixed children. You on an island by yourself. Why are you worrying about what's going on with black women? Exactly. You chose not to date them.
And then not only that, Darrell, let's pose the question, and they need to go ahead and give the honest answer. Do you and in your white wives do y'all have any disagreements or any arguments?
Yeah.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Because if you do, then how you gonna say that these women are somehow more submissive and more cooperative in a way that black women aren't? Why you arguing with these with your white queens? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like the dude, and this whole thing about white women are not as submissive as these Negroes think they are.
I know they not. That's
These
what I'm saying.
motherfuckers be having plans to get that life insurance policy, to get that 401k, divorce your ass after 10, 12 years, and take half of every goddamn thing you got. That's what they doing. How submissive is that shit?
And listen, I work with white boys. I mean, and they're very open and honest about their relationships with white women. And let me tell you, they be in there complaining like a mug about the white wives. How and listen, a lot of these white guys, their wives don't even work, and their wives be very demanding and domineering and telling them what needs to be done.
Right, and don't even cook and clean and be at home. They got a fucking nanny. They'll be at home doing shit and got a fucking nanny. They paying $1,500 a month.
Let me tell you what this one white guy's wife did. Okay, so he's a military veteran. His wife doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? She went behind. She took $10,000 out the bank, went behind his back, and went and bought herself a Lexus Jeep.
Wow. Wow.
And he was, and needless to say, he was ticked about it, and he was complaining, and he was pissed off, and rightfully so. But that's the type of stuff they do. You know what I'm saying? She waited till he went to work, went to the bank, got 10 stacks out the bank, and went and bought herself a little pre-owned Lexus truck, man. You know what I'm saying?
Without even notifying the man or nothing, just took the money out.
He came home from work, and the car sitting in the driveway.
But they the most submissive. But they submissive.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Look at what Free Zone said, talking about it's not about white women. Y'all still don't get it. Let y'all tell it this about white women.
What is it about? Tell me what it's about. Since it ain't about white women, tell me what the hell is about. Explain to me, Free Zone, Lou, because you was in Teapot Chat last night talking shit too. What is it about then? If it ain't about that, if it ain't about the whiteness, because that's what attracted you to him in the first place. The fact that she wasn't black, the fact that she was white. So explain that to me. I want to know.
It's the fact that women are not under their control and domination. That is the fact. The thing that's interesting to me was at one point I was asked about Amiri's tactics and what I thought about it. And basically they was trying to goad me into putting a personal attack on Amiri. And I was like, I don't know nothing about that, but basically that man is married, which is more than I can say for a lot of the men on this panel. And my thing is, Amiri seems to have a happy, thriving family. And if he was able to do it, and he don't have the issues with black women that they have, then I think he probably would be somebody you would listen to, because he don't seem like he'll push over in his house or nothing like that. So I don't understand all this craziness. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. They want me to get up here and just go along with their talking points. So like as if I'm supposed to be needing their masculine validation, when what I'm telling them is the stuff y'all saying sounds good in theory, but that's not the real world. That's not how practical. It sounds good in theory, but how practical is the application of it in your everyday life? At the end of the day, when you're dealing with a woman, you're dealing with a human being. You're dealing with a human being, and when you spend that much time with a person, when you share close quarters with a person, there's going to be times when there's going to be tension. That's just how it goes.
Yes, any relationship.
Exactly. That's why I said ask them. Do them and their white wives have arguments or disagreements? And if they come up here and say no, they're lying. Exactly. That's why I said ask them that.
everything all hunky dory and peaches and cream and all day, every day.
They know around Thanksgiving time they be sick eating that fucking rhubarb pie and
nasty ass food that they be eating. Fucking that shit, that bullshit. But what's the what is that shit with the red? It's like a reddish stuff you put on the turkey and shit.
Cranberry sauce.
The cranberry sauce, that nasty ass cranberry sauce that she cooked up and all that shit.
Yeah, Matt. Potato salad with raisins and carrots in it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
You know that unseasoned food. Go off, man. If that's if y'all like it, I love it, goddamn. But don't try to sit here and pretend and act like everything just hunky dory, man. You know what I'm saying? I think
that needs to be a topic. I want to hear about the good white wives and the good Filipino wife and the Caribbean and the Latin wives that they claim they got. Why they not bragging on these? You don't never hear them bragging on these women at all. You always talking about what black women ain't doing. I want to know what these women that y'all claim y'all love so much, what are they doing for you?
And let me tell you,
I don't hear no testimonials.
And that's the thing, because one thing I do know is that people who are happy in their situations and everything like that, they're self-absorbed. You're not going to be over in a space talking about women you've made it clear you don't want, and you don't went and chose what you chose, but yet they over here always talking about black women, what they are and what they aren't doing. Sounds to me like there's some buyer's remorse there, and you wish you had the voluptuous loving of a sister. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, like damn, I done fucked up. I'm stuck. I don't really want this. The family don't like me. They don't never come to the house for Thanksgiving. You know, everybody looking at you like you fucking crazy when you go to the white family. You know, because that's how black people get treated. This the shit that interracial couples don't talk about. That's why they don't last.
Yep.
This the shit I hear in therapy. See, this the untold shit that these niggas get up here bragging about. Nigga been married to a white woman for 15 years, only seen the parents 10 times in 15 years for Christmas, and barely see them for that. And they don't want to be seen.
Right.
Or people act like you don't even exist, talking around you like you don't even exist.
The casual racism they have to tolerate that comes from their spouses' families. The casual racism. But they'll never talk about that. They want to make it like it's just the bed of roses. And you're right. I think I first heard this statistic from you, and I remember I went and looked it up, and you were correct when you said that interracial couples they suffer the highest marital instability.
Yes, they do.
See,
they barely last 5 years. 5 years to me, if it can last over 5 years, you have a good chance of making it. But most of them end in 5 years. Most interracial marriages, 5 years is done. You done. And look, I didn't write the statistics. I'm just telling you what I do for. I know I know the dynamic, you know, and shit like that. I know what happens and what don't happen because I see it every day. I mean, I don't counsel a lot of interracial relationships, but I've counseled enough. Particularly with black people, I'm talking whether even in Hispanic relationships, black people are married to Hispanics, the same shit.
Yeah,
the same shit.
And you know what's funny?
A certain way.
And the person who's probably the most qualified to speak on relationships is you.
Yes,
and they're trying to dismiss. Like I was listening the other day, you was talking about domestic violence, and they sitting here trying to. I'm like, how y'all gonna? This is a part of this man's field of expertise in what he does for a living. He makes a lot of money dealing with these types of issues. How y'all gonna tell him? I was listening to that. I think that was last Saturday.
Yeah,
I was listening to your stream. Yeah, that shit is crazy.
I have an accredited program. Been accredited for almost a year. But you're gonna argue me about the statistics and this and that, talking about black women are the ones who start the violence. They're the initiator of the violence 70%. That's a lie. There is no statistic from any of the major domestic violence organizations or mental health organizations that will substantiate 70%. Number one, how the hell they're going to be the initiators of the domestic violence when it's women who are calling the police 90% of the fucking time. This shit is illogical. Why would the initiator call the police? Like, see how illogical that sound?
Yeah, that's a great point.
How the hell, if I'm the person that's initiating violence, call the police on the victim?
That's a great point. I never thought of that. Yeah, that's a great point.
What's up, Free Zone Lou? I'm ready to hear what you got to say. Give it to me.
No, what's going on, man? What's going on? Salute, D Darrell, Mary.
Yeah, how you doing?
Mahogany
on here. Mahogany.
Mahogany. I didn't know who that was. What's going on?
Hey.
Oh man. It's not about the white. It's not about the white women. It's not like my wife is Puerto Rican and Italian. I don't know what kind of category y'all would put that in, but they'll say she's non-black. They won't say she's white. So, you know, I prefer her. I mean, she's more of a spicy white, but you know, it's neither here nor there.
That's a new one. That's a new one.
Yeah, man. She'll do something like you know, she'll whip up some mean Hispanic or fried chicken or whatever, and then she'll go talk about Sex in the City and stuff like that. It's very weird. But it's just about finding a good woman. Like, here's what I see with guys in the space.
Let me ask you this question. I get what you're saying. I know where you're going with this, but I just want to ask you this question. When you saw that woman, what did you see? What did you think she was?
I didn't know so I saw her in the summertime. So she's got like in the summertime, she has like a nice Hispanic tan where her skin is like olive.
So number one, you knew she wasn't a black woman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that qualified for one of the reasons why you approached her, because she wasn't a black woman, and she looked ambiguous, and she could have been something else. So you trying to tell me in your initial perception, visual perception of her, you were looking at the fact that you wanted a non-black woman?
No.
Stop, man.
I've been with races of all. The only women I haven't been with are like women out of India or Asian women. I haven't been with an Asian woman.
Okay.
Outside of those, I've had relationships with all of the ones in between, even the different types of black women, right? So you have your red bones, you have your you have women who are just black women who are just regular black women that don't necessarily lean on the queenness. I've been with Hotepi black women. I've been with non-Hotepi black women. The different varieties of black women that there are. So it's not that. I mean,
so what
I didn't.
Tell me what these other women have that black women don't have.
Well, it depends on the black woman.
No. Let's. What do they have that these? Because you're part of this group who, you know, you all are you know, telling black women they lack thereof. But since they lack thereof, I want to know what these other women have that they lack.
I would say that she was. I don't know, man. She was just a good woman. Like we have, to answer your question, Mary, about arguments. Me and my lady, we do have arguments. We don't. It doesn't get to a level of fighting where we're just up in each other's face, but we have things that we disagree on. And I'm pretty sure, like in your house, you're able to surgically, you know, because y'all read and stuff, so you're able to approach it with logic and have that exchange. And I just like the fact that if I made a good point, even if it took some fighting, she agreed with it. And I can say a lot more than I can say the things that I'm saying with her. Like I'm free to say anything that I want to.
You should be. Why wouldn't you be?
I don't know. Some relationships they can't. Like when you talk about white boys, like a lot of white boys are cucks. They feel like if they say something, their relationship is gone. I hear a lot of black guys that are like that as well. If they speak blasphemous against their woman, then it's a problem. So,
so what you're telling me is nothing different than any functional black relationship.
No, that's why I say I don't think. I don't think.
Figure out why. What's because you're supporting these guys that talk this shit about black women all the time, and they say all these ill things, and you in the group because you with a non-black woman, but I'm not hearing nothing that you're saying that would tip my thoughts to another group.
Okay, so
because I can get that from it. I've been married. I'm married now for 17, almost be 18 years at the end of this year, and it's a functional black relationship.
And salute to you. Salute to you. I said salute to you.
Yeah. So what you're looking at, what these guys claiming, what you're getting is something you can get from your own community. You don't have to leave your community. Now, if you choose to, that's your prerogative. But if you're going to, I'm going to say this, if you're going to get a woman from another culture, okay, what right do you have to talk about black women?
Well, I still deal with black women on a daily basis. Like I work with black women, I interact with black women. It's not like, well, no, hold on real quick. It's not like once you get a black woman, then all of a sudden black women just disappear from your life. It's not even like that.
But that's what the guys you support, that's what they say.
Okay.
They're saying that they're divesting away from the community, the community. This is what they're saying. This is not, these are guys you support. Because they're all talking about, SKC with an Asian woman, other guys with this and that. Big truck is with a woman from Southeast Asia, whatever. They claiming how much better they are. So
who's
I'm
Big
like,
Truck?
okay.
Who's Big Truck? Oh, Big Truck. Okay, I know Big Truck is all right.
Yeah,
never mind.
Big Truck. He
be on like I seen him on Ramils and stuff.
Yeah, him.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm trying to figure out why should a young black man watching this space listen to these Negroes say this, as if they have the elixir for life, peace and happiness, and it's almost like the only way you're going to find that is you seek a woman outside of your community.
That's a good place to start. If all you've dated,
wait, hold on, no, stop! I gotta stop you there. What you mean that's a good place to start? Why can't you start in your own community?
I'm saying that if you're a guy who's used to one type of woman from one type of community, a good place to start would be to rotate around and experiment with different types of women of different types of communities. And if you still have the same issues, then the problem is you, bro.
Okay, I'll concede with that point. I'm gonna go to Mahogany. Hey, Queen.
Yes. Hey, sweetie, because I'm up here dying.
I know you want to go ahead.
I have so much to say, and I don't know how old Free Zone Citizen Lou. I'm not sure how old you are. I do have one question. How long you been married to your wife? Free Zone. How long you been married, sweetie?
Not that long. Like a year. Yeah, not that long.
Okay. So I want to right. I want to give, well, first of all, I just want to say no matter what, I want to see people happy. So I wish you and your wife the best. And I'm not up here to next. My thing is, I have a problem when, like D. Durrell just said, when men go somewhere else and then they try to convince other men to follow suit as if what they've got is so much better, when I know very good and well, I know from personal experience that the stuff that they're telling black women is just not true. It's not any better on the other side. I'm going to give you several examples. Just today, I just got off from work. Just today, I think when I first came in the house, my son was watching the news, and I don't know if you guys have heard about it. You will hear about it. There was an Asian woman that hanged herself and strangled her 3 children just today.
Oh,
now
shit. Really?
Yeah, I read. I was
just
reading about that
today,
earlier. Yeah.
just today, Asian woman hung herself and strangled her 3 kids, but yet Black women are the worst mothers on the planet. And also, I did a video 2 years ago with a man who was MGTOW out complaining about his wife. He had a mail order bride. She was from China.
Oh,
and child, one of the worst. What? She wouldn't cook, she wouldn't clean, she wouldn't do a goddamn thing once she got to the United States. I'm gonna give you another example. My very best friend, I have several, but my best friend, we were stationed overseas in Korea. His first wife was Latin, and he was one of those brothers, and my own very own brother. I'm gonna give you 2 more examples. But my best friend, his first wife was a Latina woman. And I'm saying all this not to speak bad against the woman, but I'm saying all this so men can see that sometimes a bad choice is just a bad choice, and race has nothing to do with it. So, and you can get a bad choice anywhere you go. I think sometimes we look at white folks like their shit don't stink, and people of other races. And trust me, not only does it stink, it funks up the whole fucking room. It's 10 times worse than us. Because some of the stuff I've seen people go through is way worse. Because let me just remind you, you are a Black man in America. So, and they're always, I don't give a damn, they are always going to side with that non-Black woman against your Black behind. So let me tell you, my best friend married a Latina woman. And to this day, one day I think I'm going to, and DJRL, if you want to do an interview with him, you can, because he's actually, we've discussed it. If I'll pass him along, because I feel like
I'd like to do an interview. Yeah,
I'll give you his number, because this man went through pure hell, is still going through pure hell with his first wife. His first wife, they were both military. He had 2 children, and I keep on asking him, why, if things were bad from the beginning, why did you stay there and make babies? And I even told him, I said, well, you bragged about her and you made her seem like she was the woman in your dreams. And he told me flat out, because he knew he had made a mistake and he was trying to pretty much cope with it himself. He, this is his own personal experience. He was never even sexually really attracted with that woman, but they were having sex all free willy-nilly, and she ended up getting pregnant. And because he was a stand-up guy, he stuck with it. And he put up with it. And he put up with her mother coming to the house, constantly treating him like he was the motherfucking help. Right. He put up with his, talking to him like he wasn't shit while he pay all the goddamn bills in the house. They speak in a completely different language in his house, making him feel uncomfortable. And because their culture is different, he had to put up with people in his house mooching off of him, not paying any goddamn rent. Oh, child, let me tell you the stories. That's why when I hear these dudes, I be hoping and praying that sisters are not taking this shit in, because I know what it really is, honey. I know what it really is. My own brother, and I love my niece, but he married a Hispanic girl. Similar situation. We can barely see my nieces and nephews. It wasn't until they turned 18 and was able to come find us, because the mom ran off, got married to this time a Latino man, and he decided, listen, your half Black children ain't welcome in my house. And so that's when the kids came back to us, really. But this whole idea that it's heaven and they're just so much better and so much this and that, absolute fucking lies. People are people. So I just had to say that.
Yeah, email me on that, because I definitely would like to interview and have a discussion about that shit, because they see, people are in these spaces and not looking at the full dynamics of what these relationships consist of over time. They're drama. They're basically all this fantasy. They're fantasizing and giving these false narratives to embellish on what it really is on a day-to-day basis, and it's not what you think. What's up, Oracle?
Hey, can I?
Oh, go ahead.
No, real quick, Mahogany. I do have a question, because
sure.
It's not that we don't just go in on Black women. We go in on Black men too, because like the culture itself is a problem. And DRL, you've had hundreds of therapy sessions to prove that. There's a
Yeah,
toxicity
but
within the
but you
culture.
know, I got hundreds. I have hundreds
So
of sessions with other people other cultures that have toxicity in their culture too. It's not just relegated to black culture.
well, no. But my question was going to be, because you kept saying mahogany, he had to put up with. He had to put up with. So
Mm-hmm.
if the man is putting up with all of these things, wouldn't it
Mm-hmm.
be put on the man more than anything else? Because he's putting up
Oh
with
no.
this
Oh, go ahead.
nonsense.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. He'll be the first of all. He's remarried, very happily married. He's actually also. I was going to share this. Him and his wife, they're 40. Like we're all in our 40s. Okay. So second marriage, had a baby. They had his wife, who's in her 40s, she had her first baby. So he done moved on so far removed from this chick, and she mad as hell, and that's why he's in the struggle right now to see his kids. But to answer your question. He fell for the okie doke. He really, and he told me this. We're best friends. He told me, I thought she was going to be this, and I thought she was going to be that, and a slap of reality hit him in the face. So did he make a mistake? He'll tell you that was his biggest mistake, and that's his words, not mine. For one thing, the culture. Being expected to take care of mama, papa, and brother down on his luck, and all kinds of stuff. And what else? There was one more thing.
So Mahogany, I just wanted to say this. So they have a problem with stepdads taking. They don't want to play the cleanup man, or they simping being a stepdad, but you don't got a problem with taking care of the whole family and their culture of another culture. Make sense.
Right. And I will say, he did have a problem, but because he loved his wife, and even though in the beginning he really didn't want to, but he had kids with her, so he was trying to make it work until he came home and another man was in his house. So I just want people to stop saying like black women are the worst thing that ever that ever came through, when I know for a fact it's not true. I know that for a fact. It's just not true. Just like these men, and I'll be quiet, D. Rail. Just like these men, a woman. This is the thing, citizen, free zone. I'm sorry. I do realize one thing. I do realize that interracial relationships in real life are not this mess that we have online. This divestment and this SYSB. I realize that people can find each other from other places. I do, but I agree with D. Darrell. I don't think that should be the first place we look, because to be honest, it's not any better. That's my own personal experience, and the same thing with us. I feel like when you're looking for things for the wrong reason, you're going to find the wrong person, because they already know that you're out here kind of looking desperate. All right. And so just like I said, it's not only for the women too. It's, they beat their wives too, and they do trifling shit too, and they cheat too. And, this is something that goes beyond skin color.
Thanks.
So
right. And I was raised, and here's the thing, me and the fellas, like, we go, there's actually a range of things that we disagree on as well. We go back and forth about them as well, just like we would here. And I was raised military and then joined the military. So I moved around a lot. Like, I spent most of my time as a kid in Japan. So this idea of calculating the woman's race into my vetting process for what type of woman I want was just never a thing. That's a foreign concept to me. I care about the woman's character and what she has to, quote unquote, bring to the table than I do the color of her skin. Because I don't care what color she is. If she's trash, she's trash.
I do want to say,
put myself in that position.
I do want to add, I just remembered what I was going to say, y'all.
Go ahead,
and you're right, hun. Now this is where people might disagree with me, but this is my personal feelings. I married a dark-skinned man. I'm a dark-skinned woman. That's what I chose. That's what I wanted. I wanted to have pretty little dark-skinned babies, and I had that. However, to each his own. But I will say this: if I had married a man, which I believe Black women do have other options, but if I had, I would have been honest. I don't think that I would. I think I would have forfeited my right to get up here and talk about Black anything, because I feel like once you do that, you do kind of lose the right to criticize people that you're not necessarily in an intimate relationship with, right? So I would not feel justified in getting up here talking about Black men, knowing damn well I'm at home with motherfucking Tommy. I just would not. I just don't feel like that would be right. You know what I'm saying? So that's my personal opinion about it. Doesn't mean I can't stand up for, like, say I want to participate in Black Lives Matter or march, and I want to help the cause. Yeah, I don't think anybody would have a problem with it. Just like women who are married to Black men, some of them want to protest and help the cause. That's fine. But then I do feel like there's a place. And when you have chosen something like that, I do believe you lose a certain place to where it might not be appropriate for you to speak on certain things. That's just my opinion.
No, I get it. Like, my mindset is more of when men have a different, like, I just don't submit to the whole collective thing. That whole collective idea. It's like, yo, go free, be the individual that you were born as, and go try out different things. And you might get different results if you try out different things. And if you're still getting the same results, then you can at least know that you have an issue and book an appointment with D the Rep.
I want to say this, and I'm gonna be quiet. Try different things, but like we already established, the color, the race, even the difference in culture doesn't make it necessarily different, because they could just be just as ghetto and hood as anybody else from the ghetto or hood. Maybe a difference would be, okay, if you normally date, we'll say you normally have dated maybe a certain age group, maybe you. And even that is within reason. But, little small changes, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go all the way over the rope. Like for me, my boyfriend now is the first guy I've ever dated that was a chef and that was a sports lover. My first husband didn't like sports. My boyfriend, he likes to travel. My first husband didn't really like to travel. So maybe switching it up in that type of way. My first husband was very religious, and not so, who I'm with now, not so much. So maybe switching it up doesn't mean, flying across seas all the time.
No, you don't got to do that. You don't got to do that necessarily.
You got to go way to Thailand and go looking for a woman. Like, really? What's up, Oracle? How you doing, baby?
Hey, how you doing, D the Real? Thanks so much for having me up. How you been?
I'm good, baby. I've been doing good. How about yourself?
I've been doing great. I'm in the rafters taking notes. It's a very interesting topic. Okay. Interracial, intraracial. Concepts are being spreaded, and I'm, new to the whole idea of what a manosphere is. But at the same time, there are things that do stick out. And one of those things that stuck out to me, and I'm not sure if anybody else saw that or felt any way about that statement, Dolomite said was he wish or want Black women to do better. So who is Dolomite?
I don't know him. He's probably manosphere, but I don't really know him that well.
Oh, so he's not one of the characters. He's not a specific.
No, he's not a content creator.
Content creator. Oh, okay. Because if I wish he was, but is anyone on here in league with that concept? They wish Black women would do better. Any other person?
Well, when he says I wish Black men would do better, I'm gonna say this: as Black folks, we all can do better. Like so, right. So when you want to talk about doing better, that comes to me from a misogynistic standpoint, because you're assuming where they're already at is not good enough. And when you say black, see, that's another thing that the manosphere has a problem with. You can't speak in generalities and the majority about a demographic, any group demographic of people. You can't speak of black women in one perspective. And so when you say black women need to make, what do you mean? Like it's such a vague and generalized statement. You're grouping all 40+ million black women into the same, in the same hat. And that's just not true. There are black women who already are doing better. There's black women who may not be. There's those who are trying. Then you got those that, there's groups of that. There's different things, people in different walks of life, different times, different stages of their life. But when you make that vague statement, it's almost like you're thinking that black women now currently are not good enough. And that's just not true.
So I wanted to say this too, D-Real, is if you're going to make a blanket statement like that, that's very vague and ambiguous in nature, could you be more specific? So is there a way that this person, Mr. Dolomite, can join us?
He said black men will tolerate more than any other races that will. Okay. Then he's saying every other group can see the problem and call it out. We're the only group that see the problem and get scaled pushback for calling. Well, see, what issue?
So give me a list of problems. I mean, what do you mean by do better? Okay, let's start from scratch. Can you give us like an anecdotal listing of some do better objectives that black women can attack like now? Just run them down. No. I want Dolomite to answer that.
Dolomite quiet.
Okay. But we heard them all a million times. I know them by heart, like the back of my hand. But
isn't that a common statement? We want black women to do this. We want black women to do. It's a laundry list of what they claim other races of women are doing that black women are not doing.
I can name them all, honey. It's the same old stuff. It's the same. Oh, you're not submissive. You're not friendly. You don't smile. You're choosing.
Not submissive. Let that be number one. Okay.
Oh, he's gonna say I don't play the game. We're grown. Y'all want to play crazy. So he's trying to assume like we know what he's talking about, but we don't want to speak on it.
So we're not
mindful. Can I ask you ladies a question?
We're not. We try to read minds, but we don't read minds. So since we don't read minds, would it be fair to ask of you, what do you expect black women to do?
Can I ask y'all ladies a question? The ladies up here.
Sure.
What does submission, when you hear them, I know what does submission mean to y'all? Not what their definition is for you, but to you.
A better question would be, what does submissive mean to a black man that wants his woman submissive? So Dolomite, why don't you give us an answer to that?
Well, he ain't with a black. Well, Dolomite. I don't know what Dolomite with.
I mean, I can answer. For me,
go ahead.
For me, one of the ways I submit is I accept what it is my husband provides.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, for me personally, and she brought up a good point, submission is different because it depends on the type of man you got. And for me, I'm gonna be honest, it's more of a give and take thing. It's more of a give and receive and back and forth. I don't look at submission the way a lot of people do, as like you get, I don't know. I did a whole thing about this, but I'm gonna try not to be long-winded.
No, go ahead.
But basically, I feel like it's something that really should happen naturally within the course of time, within the course of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like the man that I'm with is awesome. He never demands too much of me. He doesn't have to, because we care for each other. The same as me. The other day I came and my feet were like on fire. And he saw that, and he started massaging my feet. I don't think that makes him weak at all. He's cared to my needs without me even having to ask of him. And it's the same thing that I do. When he gets up in the morning, I get up in the morning with him. sometimes, sometimes he doesn't really want me to, but I'll get up and make a snack or whatever to take with him. That's something that I like to do. He really doesn't even need that because he works in the kitchen all day, but I do that sometimes. It's nothing that he has to ask of me, but I do that to that man because he's so good to me. So it's a give and take,
right?
For me. Yeah, it really is.
Oh, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, Amiri. Was that you, Amiri? Okay.
No, I don't think it was.
It
wasn't
I'm
me.
on an 8. What I'm gonna say is this: anytime a man gotta ask you to be submissive, that means that ain't the man for you to be submissive to. Because most women, if you doing what you're supposed to do, a lot of women are going to naturally show some level of submission. So if you gotta ask and constantly bring up submission, that means you ain't a man that deserves submission. That's how I look at it. I have never asked a woman to be submissive. Matter of fact, the term submission has never came up in any relationship I've been with. My marriage has never come up.
That's
I've never heard people talk about femininity and submission. I've never had that come up in any
real life.
You were ever married, and me, I was married for 25 years. We have never used the word submission. Okay.
Right, and that kind of
understanding of what submission means is that there's a yin and a yang effect that goes on between a man and a woman in a viable relationship in order for that to survive in the first place. So it's an unspoken, understood situation that each know their place as a female, because I got a pussy and he got a dick. So when you have that understanding, you're not confused, complexed, or about any of that, because you're with who? Your best friend, your life partner, your twin flame. There is no such thing as this bow down, dominant, submissive type attitude in those type of survivalship long-term relationships all the way up to marriage. And the real can attest to this. That those type of concepts that these people obviously have are something that they made up in their own concept somehow that has absolutely nothing to do with reality. So we need a reality check. That's the point. Is that each individual couple are their own nucleus. They're not engaged or married to the society at large in a sense of intense fervor of love for one another and intimacy. So because of that, we do not get to go in each person's household and just automatically assume because somebody melanates and she's a female that she must be giving this man holy hell, And who are you comparing this concept to? You cannot make an argument without a comparison. That's number one, because what's the point of the argument if you have absolutely nothing to compare it to? So if you're going to make some type of argument, make sure that you bring up statistics of other races of people in the same dynamic. Are you just being fruitless and you're also being emotional? You're a failure at having and maintaining a viable relationship. You don't need to tell everybody that's your case. You're expressing that, okay? And that's all I had to say. Thank you for having me, D. Darrell.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate your wisdom.
Yeah, she didn't have to go. I was loving it, honey. I was loving it.
The Oracle, she's quite a character. She spit game, but my thing is this. I'm gonna say this, and shout out to Dr. Nikki Proctor. How you doing, Queen? Like, this is what I'm saying. If you had problems, like, and I'm gonna say this for Free Zone, right? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can hear you.
When you was dating black women, did you have problems getting submission?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Okay. Did you think the women were not feminine?
Some of them.
Some of them. Okay.
Some
okay.
Of them, yeah.
Okay. So what about the women of other races? Were some of them not feminine? Some of them may have not been submissive.
Yes, some of them were not feminine. No.
Okay. So although that happened, you continued to date interracially though.
Sure.
Okay. So
I have trouble real quick. I have trouble answering that question because I didn't pick the women that I picked because of their race. So that's why I struggle with that answer. Like I could be with a black woman and it didn't work out, and then the next woman could be another black woman, and then the next woman could be a white woman, a Hispanic. Like I didn't pick on that criteria. I saw things in the woman that I liked, and then upon further investigation, you see skeletons in the closet. So where a lot of men would ignore the red flags, I would just dip. Like I'm not dealing with it.
okay.
So that's how it happened.
So what made you decide, oh, this is something you've always done since high school? Did you, like, as an adult, decide to start dating interracially, or you been doing this like all your life based on the type of environment you were in?
Yeah, like like I said, like I was okay. So like from first grade to sixth grade, during those important years, I spent in Japan, and
Okay.
I wasn't a nigga in Japan. So that's that whole time. Like I didn't learn about a lot of this stuff until I got to like high school, like tail end of middle school, because I went to California after that. So a lot of the concepts were very, very foreign to me. And when I would ask questions, I would get pushback. I would get, oh, you one of those, and this, that, and the other thing. Like I never thought that I never saw myself as a twin. So it really wasn't until YouTube where I would expound on what I felt about life, and people was like, "Oh, you a sellout, you a coon," and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna fight people on YouTube about my identity, so I just decided to lean into it. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's where a lot of the misconception is, because a lot of people will think that YouTube is a microcosm of what's going on in the actual world, and there is a kind of truth to that. But in my personal life, it's not. It's literally the total opposite. Like the black women that I meet and the black women that I work with, I get along with all the black women that I engage with. So, as a matter of fact, I'll show some of the black women some of the stuff that I'll see in the space, and they'll say that both the men and the women are both dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a weird topsy turvy thing. Like a lot of this is there is a lot of just leaning into. It's like, okay, y'all need me to be a coon, all right, cool, like whatever. I'm not gonna get on panels and, oh, you a coon, I'm not a coon. It's like that, we're not gonna get nowhere with that. It's like, all right, cool, I'm a coon. Now what? Let's actually have a discussion. And even I've been on a Amiri's panel. I've had a lot of productive conversations with the black women on his panel, with him on his panel. Amiri, I don't know what happened yesterday because I was in between. Like I just had my baby girl 2 days ago. So there's a lot of
Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Right.
I appreciate it. So yesterday, like he was on Hood Conservatives, and they went from when I was listening, they were talking about GTA, and then I went and took care of her, and then I come back, and Amiri's on the panel going off. I'm like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden, a hate stream. So I completely removed myself from that because I have no idea what's going on. It's like, yeah, bro. It's like when you wake up in the middle of the night and you say, oh, there's a stream going on. It's about the shooter, whatever. And then you open it up, and and everybody's arguing about something that has nothing to do with the topic, and you're like, oh, let me get my bearings. Let me try to figure out what's going on here because this doesn't make any sense.
Damn.
So
I won't be long, I promise. I just wanted to, yes, congratulations to you, sweetie. And I just want to say, you ain't no coon. A coon is when these Negroes get up here and talk about their own people like dogs, whether it's men or women. So you ain't no coon because I haven't seen that from you. And then also, I just want to tell you a little something. As your baby girl, as your beautiful daughter begins to grow up, I'm willing to bet you a lot of this negativity that you're hearing about and your daughter being partially black because of you, a lot of this stuff is going to begin to bother you. Just give it time.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. Like I've had racial moments happen to me in my life, and I think that's the misconception too, that the folks on my side are saying that there's no such thing as racism. That's not it at all. What we're saying is, and what I'm saying right now is that yes, racism is a problem, but number one, it's not the number one problem, and number two, it's not such a big problem that people can't succeed and maneuver however they want to. Like, it might be a little harder, and we can have a debate on whether it should be harder. It just, to me, it just is what it is. You're dealt a certain hand, and you got to make the most of it. And D. Darrell, the reason why I was coming at you yesterday, I do have a personal issue with you because as far as people in the space, I consider you, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, from your mouth and the mouths of others, that you are a pretty successful man. And I find it an issue when successful people speak on oppression. It's very, very, it's almost like a cognitive dissonance because you're doing well in your
But go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish your statement. But go ahead.
You're doing well in your life. You're falling, and I've heard you on panels where you'll say you just came back from a 5-day vacation here, there, and everything, and then you'll go into a discussion about how the white man won't let black people do this, that, and the other thing when you just came back from a nice 5-day vacation in, I don't know, the Poconos or something crazy like that.
I was in Vegas. I'll be going to San Francisco next Thursday. But go ahead.
Hey.
But go ahead.
Don't need. It's your channel. You can flex. But to me, that does, in my mind, it doesn't make sense.
It makes
so that's
perfect
why I be
sense.
talking shit to you.
Oh,
Okay.
It makes perfect sense. Do you want to? Because oh Jesus.
Go ahead, Mahogany. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm letting y'all go ahead. Go ahead, Queen.
Oh my God! Listen, I came from the hood, and now I'm not in the hood anymore. But guess what? I know that our people are still being oppressed. My brother was murdered 4 years ago by a racist cop. I know that stuff still happens. I barely made it through dental school because my teachers were all racist, and they kept on telling me when I showed up with a 3.8 grade average, you know, you have to have a 3.6 grade average, and I kept on telling them I got a 3.8. Now what? Then they said, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I did it top of my class. But this wasn't even that long ago. We still have a fight. And just because a few of us have made it or some of us have made it, we got a long way to go. Oh, brother, you are about to raise a half black young girl. And let me tell you, she's going to go through it from all types of people, from all different types of races. And whether you and your wife are successful or not, you're going to have to go back and you're going to have to look out for her. I have a son right now that's 21 years old. We drive in my mom's neighborhood. If he's driving my car, good chance he's going to get pulled over. And I'm having a stroke, wondering if my child is going to make it home. Honey, just because some of us have made it, a few of us have made it, we still have a very long way to go in this country, and the fight is not over just because we can go to the Poconos. I got to go, but I appreciate the conversation and your... Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to hop down.
Well, okay. No, I don't think that if your son gets pulled over and he complies and he shows his license, shows his registration, hands on the wheel, all that stuff.
Yeah, but he was
I don't think that
you further understand he was targeted because of how he looks. He shouldn't have been pulled over if he didn't commit a crime.
I'm gonna say this, D, and then I'm gonna hop down. Well, you're wrong. My brother, who just had his 25th birthday, was pulled over. When I say a kid, damn near a saint, never did anything wrong. I'm almost convinced, me, my mom, and my brother, we talk about all the time, he never even brought a girlfriend home. I'm almost certain he died a virgin. Good kid. But we live in that type, they're not used to seeing black folks have shit. We down in the South, but it's everywhere. But the point is, sweetie, if you think that way, you got a long way to go. They killed him. He pulled out his license. He pulled out his registration. He had a license for a weapon because he was going in the military and he was training. And he pulled out all of that on the front seat. And they still found a way to put a bullet in his ass. And you just got a lot to learn, sweetheart. You got a lot to learn. You're very young. Peace. But thank you. It was nice talking to you, though. Thank you, D.
All right.
All right. Bye, boo.
Bye, Mahogany.
So I'm gonna walk you through the racism I went through since people. Hold on, because see, what people fail to understand, you're looking at the finished product. but you're not looking at the road that it takes to get to the finished product. Okay. So when you hear me talk about all those things I accomplished and so forth, what you don't think about is the obstacles and the trials and tribulations that one has to go through in order to get
right.
The end result is not reflective of the work.
Absolutely. I agree.
So we have to be cognizant. We have to be cognizant of that. Now, I'm gonna say this. When I first experienced racism, the first form of racism that I experienced was educational, institutional racism. Okay. From the time I was in kindergarten to 12th grade, I went to a school that was probably 55% white, being the majority of 45% black in the South. You know how many black teachers I had? Out of the 13 years from kindergarten to 12th, I had 3 black teachers. So you mean to tell me with a school that has 45% African Americans, 55% white, that I was only privy to only 3 black teachers in my whole life? And that's not to say that there was not qualified black teachers, because those were qualified black teachers who could not get a job or who were basically unable to work in the school system. Okay. You know what else I went through? From an economic standpoint, my mother worked in a medical facility in which she was discriminated against for lack of being promoted. Okay. She stopped working and just stayed home and was a stay-at-home mom for years before she went into owning her own transportation company. You know what happened when she owned her transportation company? Once they started seeing a huge influx of African Americans succeeding in that particular business, the state changed the laws so that they wouldn't be profitable. So you know what ended up happening? The larger white transportation companies were the only ones that survived. That's economic racism that affects me. Okay. Then let me continue, since we want to talk about you ain't never received racism.
Hey, whoa, hold on. Real quick.
I grew up in a state where David Duke almost won governor. David Duke almost won. He could have been governor of Louisiana back in 1990. I want to say 96, 94 and 96. He actually won the Republican. Since everybody want to talk about the Republican Party, can you answer why would a state nominate David Duke, a known Klansman, former Klansman leader, Grand Dragon? No. See, no, you want to talk about racism?
No,
brother. You want to talk about racism?
You're misrepresenting my position, sir. You're misrepresenting me. I'm not saying that you did not go through.
No. You're talking about racism. So I'm telling you what racism looks like. Okay. Not only in that. Okay. Let's talk about particularly in the larger cities like Baton Rouge and New Orleans, where there's a disproportionate as far as the appropriation of funds for housing, for healthcare, and other government resources that are afforded to other people that don't look like us. That has happened, and so on. One of the reasons why I went to an HBCU is so that I could get a blacker experience. Because growing up from high school, middle school, I did not have a black experience. It was a very, very white experience. That's the reason why I went to an HBCU in the first place. The job. Go ahead.
Can you clarify again? It's not computing. You did not have a black. Whoa. Okay.
I said I didn't.
You went to the HBCU to get a black experience.
I wanted a blacker experience.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that I want to see people like me in meaningful positions who understand my experience, who understand my community. I grew up with teachers who basically did not want to teach black children, that was their job. When they interacted, you could see a direct difference between the interaction of white teachers, particularly the white women, as opposed as opposed with black children. When they would, when you would see white teachers operate in that environment, and this is from kindergarten to 12th grade, they had a certain level of empathy that they would show white kids. They would ask white kids about their weekend. They would ask white kids about different things. In Louisiana, we have Cajun Creole culture, particularly a great deal of those were Cajuns. They would ask them about their quote unquote French, festivals and different things like that. But when it came to us, they didn't have that small talk with us. They didn't give us extra guidance about different things and you shouldn't do this. They treated us like a social security number. And this is part of their job. But see that dynamic of the interaction was not afforded to black kids, but it was afforded to white children. That was their privilege. That's racism. That's educational, institutional racism. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about. Your treatment, how you're being perceived. And you can, and as a kid, you're not stupid. You can see the difference between how one group of people treat you than another. So we had to operate under that disguise. Not only that, okay, since I'm not finished, since we want to talk about racism, the last job that I had before I decided to go into business for myself failed to promote me and other blacks that could have gotten a higher position on the fact of not being white, and the fact that you weren't part of this quote unquote group. That was basically racism. That was economic racism. And I'm not going to even get into the things of people calling you nigga to your face, because I've had that happen a few times too. So that's actually the small stuff. The heavy stuff is the things that affect you, both educational, health, and housing, and etc. So that's my history of the racism that I experienced. And and you know what? Throughout all of that, because I had good parents, I was psychologically, mentally, spiritually prepared. Therefore, I strive regardless of how anybody treated me, because I had goals that I had in mind. So it didn't matter whatever amount of racism. Yeah, it made it difficult, made it harder. Yes, I was not happy that, but I expected it to be something that would potentially happen, because that's just the culture of America.
Right. Like,
and that's just what it is.
Right.
I've experienced the same thing. That's why, like, the message of racism doesn't exist, that's harmful to people that's ambitious and really got goals, because when they start experiencing certain things and you don't have an explanation as to why, and the issue is because your ass is black, that's disheartening. That can tear you down. Like, for instance, myself, I've experienced it growing up. I've experienced it as an adult. I don't wake up with that chip on my shoulder, but I'm very mindful of it. I had a history teacher. This helper tried to keep me from graduating high school because she was upset that I didn't take notes in her class. And I done sat in this woman's class an entire school year and rarely ever took notes in her class. She was upset that I could take notes in her class, come take her test, and make straight A's. And I had to do senior activities and would not be able to turn a particular packet in on a certain day because of my senior activities, which she knew about. And she told us to turn it in at a later date. And she gave me a 0, which was going to turn my grade for the 6 weeks to a 50 and mess up my average for the semester to keep me from walking.
Wow.
I had to get my mama to go up there and ask what the hell was going on so I could graduate high school on time, because I bust my ass in high school.
Right.
And this is a white woman. Why else would you do that? I'm supposed to believe it's just because you don't like the fact that I didn't have to take notes in your class. No, it's more to that. You didn't like the fact that the little nigga girl could sit in your classroom and do better than some of these other children you prefer. That's why.
Yeah, and you said a key word, preference, prefer. And that is a preference in regards to how these teachers treat black children as opposed to other kids.
You have to be mindful of that. Just recently, I got passed over several promotions at this company I was working for. They kept passing me over for promotions, kept passing me over for promotions. I bust my ass. Matter of fact, when the company was about to sink, I was doing 3 jobs at one time and was not fully aware that that was happening. I just knew my workload increased. They didn't tell me until they got into a position to be able to hire people what happened. And then when they hired people, you know, they didn't put me in the position to make sure that these people could properly do their jobs. They gave it to the sex and the color that they wanted to give it to.
Right.
They paid me, you know, they paid me. I made more than most of these people, but they didn't never would put me in a position to where I could make sure that everything was running the way it was supposed to be. If I can do my job, his job, and their job too, why would you keep passing me over for promotions? You passed me over for a promotion, promoted this white dude that's PTSD, end up emailing clients of the company and talking crazy to them. I've never done anything like that.
Right.
But you passed me over for promotion. And then in order for me to get a promotion, you dangle it in front of me. But now, in order for me to get it, I have to allow you to speak to me less than what I am. I have to allow you to disrespect me, which I could have played that game. But to play that game means when I get in that position, I'm not going to be able to do what I need to do to make sure I'm successful in that position because I've already set a precedence that you can run over me and tell me what is and ain't going to happen. And when I would not conform to that type of dynamic, they laid me off.
Wow, that's incredible. That's crazy. And that's racism. That is the real racism, the unspoken racism.
What's up,
the
DJ?
racism that ain't on paper. We're not talking about no direct to your face. You a nigga, you this, you know, you this and that to your face. No, see that's not 21st century racism. That's what we experience. But let me go to Renaissance Man. What's up, brother?
Hey, D Darrell, can you hear me?
Yeah, you good, brother.
Yeah. No, the one thing I really came up for that you said that I had to come up and comment on because I really wanted to hit on it is you were talking about your mother starting a transportation company, her doing very well, and then them changing the laws. See,
right.
That's why I go at these brothers so hard in this space about engaging in the political ignorance that they engage in, not being organized, and siding with people who don't have their best interests. You know, because I'll hear them talk about periodically, oh, you know, black folks need more businesses and this, and that. And black folks, you know, we need to go work for ourselves versus working for these people if there's so much racism. But I'm like, the example you just gave is a prime example of, hey, if you go do all that, you can still have people in power go and change laws and basically destroy your business. And that's why, like, I'm always trying to hit them on, okay, where are you at politically on this? Why are you allowing with these people and doing that? Because it goes nowhere. And like I said, you saw what happened, that they can just go change a law. And if you aren't prepared for that, then we're back to square one.
Facts. And the thing about it, see, people see, we have to understand, man. The reason why black people are in the position they're in is not because of lack of scholarship, because we got plenty of people who have scholarship. We got a PhD in the chat right now, Dr. Nikki Proctor Walker. We got people with master's degrees like myself that are entrepreneurs and so forth. We got people on this panel that are educated and successful. But the problem is that the dynamic of how racism filters itself into industries, and it can kill the spirit of black people wanting to do things. I mean, Queen just talked about, you know, how that's hard to get through somebody you working and busting your ass out and shit. You thinking you training people and you're fit for the job, but you never get it. And like myself, I was the most man. The reason why I left the job that I had worked at before, and I was actually leaving anyway, but I would have probably stayed longer if I would have got the position. Everybody in the company, I guess they pretended or they put on this show as if they thought I was going to get it. And then when I didn't get it, now everybody want to know, what do you think about everything? Are you okay? Are you how you feel about everybody want to know what my plans are after I didn't get it. Man, that you think they didn't know? You think they wasn't looking at me because I was a black man as a reason to treat me in that manner? You cannot be obtuse to the dynamic or the factor of race. It exists. Now, is it an excuse? Is it an excuse for failure? No, it's not. It is not an excuse for failure.
But you can't go out here acting like it doesn't exist. And then the other thing too, D. Darrell, you're in the South.
Right.
And see, historically, like I was listening to Sandy Darity's book, From Here to Equality, and one of the things he talked about was like the GI Bill, for example, and veterans benefits. And he talked about the fact that the VA counselors for black men, if they had a black man coming in, they were dealing with transitioning out of the military back in the 40s, they were vehemently against, and they would outright tell them, no, you can't go to college. You have to go get a trade, or, you have to go do this, do that. You can't go to college. And a lot of the reasoning for that is that was to keep the society stratified the way that it was, preserve the quote unquote Southern way of life by keeping black people out of any sort of higher education that could get them better jobs and make them on par with the greater society. So there's a history of it, and that's what people have to be aware of.
Yeah. I mean, we can't. I mean, my thing is, okay. I mean, when people thinking of race, if you're thinking of old style 1955 racism, where somebody just calling you a coon or calling you nigger or calling you a jugaboo, and nobody's doing that in anymore. They haven't done that in years. I mean, well, I'm not gonna say they hadn't, but they don't. It's not something that someone would. That's not the daily execution of racism. Racism permeates through all functions of society in which we don't control, and we don't control industries. Therefore, racism is allowed to be, executed in that manner. Because
if I may say, you control the music industry. From what I see, you have a lot of.
Don't control the music industry. We don't control the music. We only control the content that's given out in certain genres, but we don't control the music industry.
Okay, just you see every time you get the radio or the TV, you see somebody from your community.
And then you also can turn to other channels and you'll see people that are not in my community.
Hey,
yes, but usually your community has a lot of has a lot of power in that area in terms of singing and performances.
Hey, before y'all get back into it, real quick, okay. I did want to say I never said that racism doesn't exist. That was never my position. That was never anything.
Yeah, but
my position.
Okay, but
my position was the very last thing that you said, which I thought you closed very well on. It was that despite all of that, you pushed through, and that's my whole thing.
Yeah, but why should I have to push through all of that? Why should I have to go through that to be successful?
I'm not going to even say that you shouldn't go through all of that. If we understand what's actually going on, because to maintain power, you got to maintain power. Right. But I will say that to put out the message that racism doesn't exist, that's not conducive rather, for people that's trying to push through. Because now you've taken away their explanation as to why they're going through what they're going through.
Right. So that means you can just treat us any kind of way. That's just natural. It's just what it is. There's not racism. That's just normal in America, per se.
Or there seems to be people too who push back against people like speaking up to try to change it, which I'm like, at the end of the day, people are not going to respect people if they know that you know that, oh, I know this person is screwing me over, but I know they're not going to stand up and try to do anything to change it. Like, that's just going to give them license to do even more. Right, exactly. I mean, my thing is, man, to me, the biggest forms of racism is in healthcare, education, and financial and work-related work-related racism. To me, that's the biggest forms of racism itself. You know, I'm not talking about this, you know, you you at the gas pump and somebody don't like you or something happened, you all arguing and y'all calling each other all kind of racial epithets and so forth. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your ability to progress, and people that don't want you to progress, people that don't want you to get education, they don't want you to be skilled, they don't want you to get higher promotions, and then criticize you for not making money and being functional in American society. That's how. And see, we want to talk about gaslighting. Let's talk about how this society gaslights Black people about racism. Let's talk about how the government has a history of gaslighting Black people as it relates to the issues that we encounter daily. You know, that's the racism that we're talking about. Matter of fact, to me, I don't even care about the stuff about living in certain neighborhoods, because I don't have to live around people that don't want me around them, per se. Now, the only problem with that, D-Darrell, is like we were talking about this on Amiris, is you have banks that'll look at, oh, you live in X, Y, and Z neighborhood, or you have this zip code. That's when it becomes a problem. Or like someone sees your job application and say, oh, you live in this zip code, we're not going to hire you. That's where it's problematic.
Yeah. And so these things happen. And so, yeah, you got affirmative action. You got certain little quotas and so forth and things like that. You wouldn't need them. If racism did not exist, you wouldn't need these quotas. You wouldn't need affirmative action. And even and affirmative action in itself is racist. It's racist towards everybody except white women. So what was the point of that? I mean, so in essence of everything that I said, Free Zone, what I'm alluding to is that the journey that I took, yes, these things I didn't make any excuses, but it wasn't a free nilly-willy, just go through the motions, everything worked perfectly. No, it didn't. No, there was some things that I had to I had to experience and persevere through in order to get where I'm at. And that's just the facts. Man, I'm gonna say this. Another form of racism, I think this kind of racism is kind of cute per se. When people come to my facility, I have a adult mental health facility for adults 18 years up. There are people from other cultures don't believe I'm the boss. They come in there thinking that I'm an employee. They assume I'm not the boss because of how I look, because me being a Black man. And when I say I'm the boss, they look in a certain way. Matter of fact, there are tons of situations that have happened with me working as a therapist before I went into business as a licensed counselor, that they didn't think I was a Black man, didn't know I was a Black man, and their whole perception changed.
Thinking that you're the receptionist or someone coming to greet them at the door.
If I may, when you say people from other cultures thought that you are just a small worker, from what cultures they were from exactly? They were American, even?
Yeah, sad part. I'm sure some of them were Black.
Well, I mean, they'd be all cultures.
No, I was gonna say, D-Darrell, I'm sure some of them were Black. Sad to say.
Yeah, some of them will be Black. That I've had Black people now, but what I can say, the black people that they did question whether they did question, but they were actually happy that I was the owner. They were like, oh, for real, like they were really like congratulatory about it, but they didn't come in there thinking a black person owned it, but
Sounds
when
weird a little bit if you think about it. You don't seem like somebody that is a small worker, if you ask me.
I don't seem like a small worker.
Yeah, and you don't sound like one.
What do I sound like, Bago?
You sound like somebody with experience. Maybe you should take the beard. Then you will be more. You will look more. How I say it. More serious, like more. Not some poor guy. But besides the beard, I don't have anything to say.
He's saying you don't sound like a guy who be, if I walked in the building and I saw you, you don't sound like a guy that would be like pushing the mop
No,
or
I
serving
wouldn't.
the fries
That's what I'm
or
trying
any of
to
that.
say.
Right.
He's not
I'm
small.
not the guy that'll be working as the help. But the bottom line is that to other cultures per se, and even some of our own people, it's not the fact that I don't look or sound like whatever. It's the fact that when they're coming there, their perception is that a person like me is not the owner or can't be the owner. That's the thing we're looking at. We got to look at the overall programming, the institutional programming that has been that we've been conditioned to, is that when we see successful business, we don't think of other people outside of white people controlling those businesses. We don't. The average black person or the average American, when they look at successful businesses, they do not think that a black person.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello,
Nikki.
hello.
They don't think we're the owners. They don't think we're ownership. They think we're probably management, lower level management, or working at a associate level per se. What's up, Nikki? What you have to say, Doctor?
I was gonna quickly say, D, unless you're in somewhere like Atlanta or Dallas or maybe Houston, that's the one exception where there is a large. But outside of those major cities, especially like Middle America, yeah, they'll look at you like you're crazy. I'm the owner.
Yeah, they will, and I've experienced it. I had people. You're the owner? Oh wow. This is yours? Oh, I'm like, yes. Damn, Nikki dropped off. I wanted to hear Nikki's commentary because I got about 10 more minutes.
I don't understand why people don't think can't be the owner. You don't sound like somebody small. I think it's you said that they come from different cultures, but from which cultures are they exactly coming from exactly?
Vigoda, you keep saying what I don't sound like. Now, what am I supposed to sound like, Vigoda?
I don't know if you sound like somebody with, not just because of your voice, but because the things that you said and the stuff. I don't know you from yesterday, so
okay.
I happen to heard you here and there, and you don't sound like an idiot. That's for sure.
Well, so, I appreciate that, but what I'm getting at, Vigoda, is that people predetermine who controls what, when, and how, or what's seen as the majorative understanding before they even know who you are and what you do. Like, again, like I talked about, when you go into different environments, different businesses, when you see successful businesses, other people assume that it's probably white owned. They don't assume that something is owned by a black man or woman when they see these successful businesses. I mean,
okay, if I would go to a restaurant and probably would look for the owner in the restaurant, then probably I would look at somebody that is take care and good of himself in terms of body. If I suppose that he is rich. So if you dress in a good clothes and you take care of yourself, then you could be the owners in the eyes of the person that come to your business and don't know you.
Potentially. Hey, Nikki.
Hey, D. Darrell, the alpha male. What's good with you?
Hey, we're discussing racism. We're discussing institutional, educational, health-related racism as far as how it's perceived by us as a people. Particularly those, like, according to a lot of people in this particular space, they believe, Dr. Nikki, because you're a black woman, you're educated, racism is not a part of your life. You're immune from that.
She's a doctor.
Oh, that's absolutely insane. And again,
Excuse me, miss,
as
you're
I
a
said,
doctor?
yes, I am a doctor.
Ah, nice. In what
Thank
you are
you.
exactly a doctor?
I'm a doctor of philosophy.
Oh, okay. Nice. Very
Thank
nice.
you. Thank you.
Yes, excuse my disturbance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead,
So
Ms.
as I was saying with
Yes,
the
go ahead.
what I put in the chat is that people don't realize that, you know, racism manifests in so many different ways, and that when you are aware, then you can better, you know, combat what it is that you're dealing with. And it does take some levels of education, or people like myself and yourself who are willing to get out in the community and advocate when we see these things. But what I find to be most problematic, and especially in the sectors that, you know, you and I are in, D. Darrell, is people using these white social norms to judge black things. And not only that, to say that, okay, I'm going to use a white standard of decorum to harass other people and say that your YouTube personality doesn't match your professional personality. And that's according to whom? Especially when you're not in my lane and you don't associate closely with people who do what I do.
Facts.
So that's, again, that racism is what privileges all things non-black as a barometer to judge black social norms. And nothing that we've ever done in the universe has ever been like our non-white counterparts.
Right. It's not intended to.
And even that type of language comes from someone trying to be in a power position by telling someone you shouldn't and you can't because of what. And just like the Oracle beautifully said, what are you comparing me to? Because we can't compete where we don't compare.
Right.
And I know that as a black woman with a terminal degree, that it is ludicrous that somebody from my own community would try to say that I'm not worthy to be where I am and to do what I do when you can't do it. I have devoted my entire life. I promised God when I got my PhD, and I was already doing the work, that I would continue to work at HBCUs and work with my own people. And it's hard work. It's very hard work, but it's rewarding because I'm patient enough for my former students to come back and say, wow, I really did not know how much you cared about me by holding me accountable for my own foolishness based on a pattern of behavior that I established with you, not you gauging me against someone else.
Exactly. We can have our own standard. We don't have to necessarily assimilate and
or acculturate.
Yeah, acculturate to others as if something that we organically create our own is not good enough.
Absolutely. Or that something on the other side is better. When I look at my black face, I do not see failure, substandard, sub nothing. I was fortunate enough to always be at predominantly white schools, but always have the black teachers who were there so that I can love myself from the inside out. It has nothing to do with what I got from home or anywhere else. If I see someone who looks like me in a position, that means that I can be that too, or hopefully they will propel me to move further than what they were able to do.
Right. And to me, you're doing the work. And the thing about it, you're cognizant of that, and you're doing things to promote and to help others excel. And that's what it's all about, being in those positions where you can create change so that, you know, the next generation of professionals can have that level of guidance and understand.
Absolutely. But not only that, I don't want the people ahead of me or behind me, however you look at the future, you know, to have to deal with what it is that I had to deal with. So if I can't make something better, I have not only failed the people who prayed and believed in me, but I have failed anybody who has dawned my doorstep.
Right. Facts.
In the worst way.
Hey, real quick, I'm on baby watch right now, so I'm gonna drop down. I'm listening in the back. I appreciate you having me up, D-Darrell.
Okay,
And
feel free to come back again. Don't feel shy.
yeah. Salute to y'all. Keep succeeding, keep progressing, keep doing your thing.
Okay.
Peace.
So
cool. But also, D-Darrell, I wanted to say this too. You know, I congratulated you quietly in the chat, but since I'm up on your panel, you know, I want to give praise to the God in you, because you then become evidence that God is real for those who believe, for your accomplishments and your achievements with having the audacity to go and seek accreditation or certification in special fields and etc. That takes a level of audacity to think that you can even do it, whereas our white counterparts expect to receive it.
Right.
So I have to congratulate you on that, because one, as another Black professional, I know what it takes for you to get to where you are. Yeah. And regardless of whatever shortcomings that we all have as human beings, because we are flawed by design, I can support the work that you do and your intentions, even if sometimes your outcomes may not be one that are positive, because I know that you are intelligent enough to be introspective and retrospective and self-correct, not due to pressure, but due to the level of cognizance that you have about yourself and the man that you want people to know you to be all the time, inside YouTube, outside YouTube, wherever. Right. And I have to congratulate you on that. And I say that with the deepest sense of humility, because I'm not in your lane and I'm not doing what it is that you're doing. And what you do is no less important than what I do, just because of the title that I have.
I appreciate that.
That's a hell of a title.
Right, but it's not about the title, it's what I do with the title and the stuff I was doing before I got the title. The title was a formality. My calling was given by God.
Right.
Okay.
I had to be disciplined enough to do the work it takes to be the person that I was born to be. That's what I'm saying.
You know what they say, God's help who helped himself.
Right.
Well, I don't know about all of that, because you can help yourself to some devilish shit. So I don't know about all of that. But what I do know is that I respect the sweat equity and the discipline and the patience that it takes for this man to be able to go to Las Vegas and throw his money up in the air if he wants to. He's not doing it at the expense of anybody else. And as a therapist that he has allowed us to let him know that he is, he does do some good and enhances the lives of the people who do enter his chats whenever is conducive for healing to take place. So I just wanted to give you your flowers and let you know why I never judged you, because there was a whole lot of negative stuff put out there about you, to where if I was a follower, we would be enemies or adversaries, and not friendly adversaries.
Right.
As opposed to say, let me use the brain that I have, because I didn't go get a PhD for somebody to tell me how to think, and let me judge this man based on his actions and his patterns of behavior.
Right.
Not what somebody else told me to think.
Right. I agree.
Because Carter G. Woodson says the best education you can give is the one you give yourself, not the one somebody tells you. So I just wanted to say that and get off the panel, because it really bothers me when people say racism is not an issue. Well, it is, and because you don't know it makes it an even bigger issue.
Yeah. And it's not substantiated by data.
It is substantiated by data, but people don't know how to interpret it. You know what racism looks like in the medical profession. I know what racism looks like in education, at the college level, at the, a secondary, elementary level. We know what it looks like because we're experts in our field.
Right.
So because we are committed to learning, we're able to see remnants of it when it manifests in other areas, like in government or in law. This is why we can get together and have a black think tank of intellectuals and talk about something. Excuse me, don't interrupt me, sir. I did not interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, that's what I'm saying. Yes, so, have to acknowledge when D. Durrell, the humanitarian, comes into a YouTube space and actually takes the time to try to uplift those who want to be uplifted, because dead weight is heavy and I can't carry it.
Truth. It is heavy.
And I like to move light and live light. So, hey.
It's very taxing.
But you can't say it wasn't put out there for you to digest and for you to become a part of. So again, brother, everything I say is with intensity and passion, because I'm a compassionate person and life is not easy. My Black experience didn't allow me to have a little dainty voice.
Ain't that the truth?
You know what I'm saying? But my voice is necessary. And when I step in the room, people know I'm not about that bullshit.
Right. Right.
So at any rate, I'm gonna get off your panel because we are way over the 15 minutes that you allotted. But thank you as always for having me up. And I appreciate when I can see Dempsey Spears do his thing, because that Godfather is an asshole.
I was waiting for you to say that, because you tell me.
But that audacity and arrogance that comes with the Godfather is what makes you an alpha male, because God damn it, somebody got to do it. Even the laugh, I love it. So you keep right on doing your thing.
Oh, Lord.
You are in the line of other Black intellectuals. And whenever we want to start talking about those Black intellectuals and how gangster they were, I'll come back up to the panel so you can see where you fall in that line in legacy.
Yeah, we have to do that. That may be another video. May have to have some discussions about that.
Anytime. So D. Durrell, the alpha male, I'm gonna sign out. So that means that Dr. PW has left the NPW has left the building.
Peace, queen. Peace, queen. Dr. Nikki Proctor Wallen. To me, she's probably one of the most educated people in these spaces on YouTube, period. She has a highly decorated career resume. It speaks for itself, not just within these United States, but also internationally. She does have a channel. I think it's Nikki Proctor. I think it's, what is Dr. Nikki? Dr. Nikki, if you can, put your YouTube channel in the chat. Narratives and dialogues, and maybe others that may want to check out your channel. She does post videos, not necessarily routinely, but she does post content here and there on her chat. So you can all check it out. I'm gonna say look up Nikki Proctor Walden, and you'll find out. If you look that up, you should be able to, if you search that name, you may be able to find it. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, so you can just look that up and you can find her channel. Please sub to Dr. Nikki's channel. Her channel is dope. I wish she'd do more content, but I know she's busy and she only does it, whenever she feels like she wants to say something. So, but I do think the content that she has is worth viewing. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm going to go ahead and head home and chill out. I'm actually going to be looking at the sector. I'm going to be looking at the Umar sector tonight, and I'll be looking at content that I will be creating over the weekend. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. This is D. Durrell the Rebirth. Please, guys, check me out on my channel, The Sectors TV. It's actually another channel in the Umar sector. I think I have content there I think you would definitely appreciate. Very entertaining. Y'all have a great day. Peace.